Welcome to the Gangcast, aka the Games and Not Games podcast. I'm Janet Garcia, and joining me as always is Isaiah Smith.
Hello.
This week we are going to be talking about Silksong for games and our wedding plus Minimoon to Universal and Disneyland for not games. But Isaiah, welcome back.
Yeah, no, it's been a bit.
Welcome back, Gangcast back. Welcome back,
If I didn't have a coffee in my hand, I'd do the little shimmy dance that
what a song
Mace does.
Shout out to Mace. Yeah.
I used to wake up to that album.
Yeah, I don't know if I heard that album.
Time.
Really? I know I've heard it kind of, but I don't know if I was like having it on like that. But I knew that. I mean, everyone knew that song. It was so good.
It was like, it must have been like middle school or something like that. I had a CD player that you could set the alarm to like start and out like a CD.
Oh, I had that too.
And I was like, you know what? That's a good song to start the day with. So it was either that or I think there was a song where he's like, the breathe, stretch, shake, let it go. Mm-hmm. That was another one that I would do that sometimes. It was like, you know what? It's a good,
Which also, real quick,
stretch.
Let us know on social in the comments what song. I think our demographic is around our age. So like, what song did you listen to wake up to on your CD player? Because for me,
the whole show already.
For me, yeah, maybe it is a whole the show. For me, it has nothing to do with the rest of the topics we're talking about. Mine was Brandy's Aphrodisiac album because the first song, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'll pull it up, but it has a crescendo. So I thought it was like the best song to like wake up to because it had like that quick, I'm trying to get the track list. I know how it goes. I just don't remember the name of it. Sure. But it was that dun 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 dun. There's a thank you for all the tears. Honestly, wait, hold on. Is that on my own music? Because I know what's going to be playing in this house after the podcast is done. But that's an album that I like listen to like crazy. Because back then you didn't have that many albums that you could like listen to. I mean, because you know, obviously like once, because that was like the sweet spot between like right before you could easily illegally download music, even though I actually did buy a lot of my music even when like downloads became a thing because
Scrub. Terrible.
What?
I've been sailing the seas since I was a wee lad.
Yeah. Well, we were always a fan of physical media, and this is also fair, like it just was better quality. You can support, and I don't know. At the time, it made sense to be buying music.
Yeah, you were definitely in the right side of history there.
But it's wild to think, you know, we had that episode a long time ago where we talked about budgeting, and to think about like where did the money that I used to spend on music go? I mean, obviously, I still pay for music in the sense that I have like streaming services, but granted, I was a kid, so I don't even know how many of those CDs I was buying myself. Yeah, that was mine. So good times. Man, how's it? Yeah. So anyway, we're back. We were gone for a little bit over a month.
I know you guys missed this.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this will be like our longest hiatus. Obviously, I'm a little scared to say that. It's been like low key, like parts of the year have been a little bit cursed for us with like
this year
Bruce getting sick
from the very beginning, the fires and your birthday and everything. It was all that happened this year.
Again, we were not directly affected by the fires, to be clear, but the vibes of the city were very low. Unsurprisingly, it was like a really dark time.
But things are back on the upswing now. You know,
I think it's just been an eventful year, and some of those events have been bad.
Yeah. LA end of year, goated. LA beginning of year, cursed. Yeah, that's just. Hopefully, there's not a trend that keeps going, but
there's been a lot happening. But so we took a break for like a week or two, and that just turned into like 4 to 6 basically because we always knew we were gonna take time off like for the wedding and for like after the wedding. Mm-hmm. But on the lead up to the wedding, there was just like so much going on, so many things to do. We also, of course, still have and renewed for next season our LA Galaxy tickets, so that hits the weekends kind of hard. And yeah, it just kind of the walls were sort of schedule closing in, and this was just kind of an easy thing to take a pause on, especially because obviously the time for the show isn't like too bad, but like Isaiah still has to do like the edits and things, so just a lot happening. But we're back now. We're refreshed.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know, this is like one of the chiller like projects I have in a way, so I don't really ever feel like I need like a break from it, but it has been nice to like, have like more time on the weekends and just kind of, you know, be able to finish out stuff for the wedding. But anything else you want to touch on before getting into games?
No, just, you know, again, thanks everyone for all the well wishes and every stuff and everything. I know we'll get into that stuff a little bit more later. Thanks for all the patience, because we know that we've been gone for a bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is still hitting your podcatchers, and we can get back into another swing of things before any sort of end of year break that might happen. But for now,
the annual what do we call it? The end of the year stuff? Is it called Gang of the Year? Yeah, Gang of the Year is coming up.
Gang of the Year conversation. How can you forget?
It's almost Gang of the Year time. It's the most wonderful
I was thinking it'd be fun
time.
to do some like user submission like writing categories, because I know like we have our own from the first last year when we did it. I think it could be cool to have like almost like either fan voted on answers or something like that. That could be fun. Yeah. So we'll talk about that. We'll think about that.
All right. Let's get into games.
Let's talk games.
So we have been playing Silksong, and we've been playing Silksong for a while because honestly, I had started writing the episode that was going to initially be episode 46 from like a month ago, and that was also like Silksong. And then we kept like skipping the podcast, and I was like, oh great, now Isaiah's playing Silksong. Yeah. Which is still true, but like it just ended up being like a longer time. Yeah. So yeah, Silksong, we're gonna get into it. With maybe also a nod to what we've been playing as well, because I know we've been digging into Pokemon ZA. And Isaiah's very far, and I'm like not nearly as far in that. So
totally understandable.
We'll see what the vibes are there. I've been focusing on Silksong, but zooming out for a second, what is your history with Team Cherry, aka Hollow Knight? And what were your thoughts going into Silksong? Like, was this always a game you were gonna play? Like, where were you at with it?
I think it's funny. I think we talked about this a little bit before. At least I've mentioned it a little bit before. Yeah. I played Hollow Knight 1. Honestly, it might have been this year, like early this year, maybe late last year. I was in a Metroidvania kick, so I did like 9 Souls. This isn't a Metroidvania necessarily kind of thing, but I did Fez. Like I went through and I did a whole bunch of games that like were on my radar that I never got around to, and wanted to finally play it. And in that was Hollow Knight 1. So came to it very, very late. Was not a part of the conversations, although like because Silksong was theoretically around the corner, Hollow Knight's just always been in kind of conversations just in the Metroidvania space since it came out. So I played it for the first time there. I liked it. I thought it was a good game. I didn't think it was great when I played it. I thought people were well overhyping it. Like people were acting like this little Hollow Knight was the second coming of Jesus and shit, like coming down, he was gonna save your Metroidvania souls and some stuff. Like it was a fine game. It was a great game.
Was it a great game?
It could have,
because you just said it was a good game.
It was a good game. I wouldn't push too hard against someone who said it was a great game. Okay. It was not an amazing game.
Do you put 9 souls over it?
Huh?
Do you put 9 souls over it?
Ooh, no. I think I enjoyed 9 souls more. Although Hollow Knight might have been a better game.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. Yes. But they're like comparable qualities of games. Like if you like one, try the other. If you can deal with that, you'll probably be in for a good time. But yeah, so I came into it late. I played it. I liked it. Fine. I was not blown away, and so I had almost preemptively written off Silksong and like if this is just going to be more Hollow Knight, I don't need to play it when it first comes out. I don't need to do all this. Like I'm gonna get to it when I get to it. Kind of like with Hollow Knight 1. And so that was kind of like my history and my thinking going into it. Now, I forget, did you play Hollow Knight? You dipped your toe into the Hollow Knight Lake. I
put my pinky ring in the soup or whatever, which you shouldn't do because that's kind of gross. But I couldn't think of any other like metaphor for it. Yeah, I have to imagine maybe it was longer amounts of time than this. Genuinely, I feel like I played Hollow Knight for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I started it. I quickly did not know where to go at all. And the first thing I encountered was like some boss that I thought was really, really hard. And I tried to leave to, we'll come back to it. And I was like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah. So I bounced like immediately off Hollow Knight, like super hard. So similar to you, but not with the same background. I guess I had similar like vibes to you, but I had different like course of action set up. Sure. Where I knew I was going to play Silksong the second it came out to see what I thought of it and be part of that conversation for like content purposes. But I didn't have really any hope in Silksong because I really hated Hollow Knight, which again, I did not really give Hollow Knight a fair try. So I'm not going to stand here and say like that I like absolutely think it's like a bad game or that it wasn't, even that it wasn't like a game for me. Like I don't really know my full thoughts on it, but I do know that I didn't enjoy it and I didn't get it like when I first started it. And I also feel like I don't know that I would even get it now because I just thought it was really like inscrutable. I thought that game was like kind of insane. And then when I played Silksong, I was like, oh, this game feels like really normal. When's the other shoe gonna drop? Like that was my first, like the first 10 minutes of Silksong were so much chiller than the first 10 minutes of Hollow Knight, where like, it's funny because they're kind of similarly constructed. Like you go around and then you immediately encounter like a boss, but that boss was like 3,000 times easier than the boss in Hollow Knight. At least that's my memory. Maybe I'm remembering incorrectly. But I think the key differentiator is you can't really get lost in Silksong at the beginning. And I would actually argue you kind of can't get lost at all, but maybe we'll get more into that later. What made you decide to start playing it earlier than maybe you expected?
It ended up being sort of convenience where you got it. Seeing you play, I think I forget how it originally happened, but I think it was kind of like like you're playing it in your downtime. You were like, oh, like here, like you can pick up and play, or you can watch me kind of like open up the game and do the first 10 minutes or whatever like that. And I think it got to the point where the idea going into it was that we were gonna just share your copy, where or share playing on your Switch, but then like something happened and the thought was that like, oh well, like you'll just be on your Switch so much that like if I'm interested in playing, I should just get it myself so that we can then play together, and we got the double TV living room and all that jazz. So I was like, fine, sure, I'll just get it, we'll play this together. Who knows how long it lasts, like if maybe you'll bounce off of it, maybe I'll bounce off of it, but whatever, it's like $20. It's not crazy expensive game for what it is. So ended up getting it out of just, again, convenience, but ended up having a good time, getting into it. And I was glad I ended up getting my own copy so that we could play together. And we could, learn from each other while we were at least still relatively together and everything like that. Eventually, you get busy with work and I do my thing of diving into a game way too hard. And I pulled ahead a little bit, but
you pulled ahead a lot of it, but
still playing together. And you started
later than me. This reminds me of like those TikToks you'll see where it's like, "Hey, race, I'll give you a head start." Like that was kind of what Silksong was, but that's kind of always the case. And I also think that you are generally just better at combat than I am in most games.
I don't know. I've seen you do some
of better at platforming.
I've seen you do some of those gauntlets and fights that I struggled way more than you did.
That's because
I don't know.
I can platform. It's like if we could combine our powers, we'd be like the most cracked Silksong player ever. What were your thoughts like with Act 1 of the game? Like kind of those early impressions, that first area.
I thought it was great. Like I haven't played Hollow Knight. And I think you even kind of mentioned this a little bit. Like there's a chill opening section to the Silksong, but there's not like a tutorial in this game. You know what I mean? And I know that a lot of people online joked about like, oh, the tutorial to Silksong is just Hollow Knight 1. Like if you want to learn how to play Silksong, go back and play Hollow Knight 1. And once you finish that game, then you'll be ready to start up Silksong. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do get the gist that the joke kind of makes. Yeah. So coming into it, I feel like I definitely had
you cheated.
a pre-developed skill set to use in the game, and so it was very chill for me getting into the swing of things. I think the mechanics of Silksong, even in Act 1, are leaps and bounds better. Like the game feels better than playing Hollow Knight 1. The way that Hornet moves, the way that she attacks, the moveset she has, the abilities and skills that you get, the just not even accessibility features of the game, because it's not accessibility features, it's just like niceties that they incorporated into the game. So much of that stuff I think is just like leaps and bounds better in Silksong than it was in Hollow Knight 1, that like it felt like I was playing a easier Hollow Knight in the beginning, at least, right? Obviously it picks up as you keep playing, but I loved Act 1. I thought it was really good. The world was interesting. I still don't follow the lore, and I don't know if you do. Let me know, because I feel like this is just mumbo jumbo hand wavy reasons to do things.
I like the writing of it, but I don't care about the story, which is like a weird distinction.
Yeah.
Like I think it's well written. Like when when I read like the lines from the characters, they were like really flowery without being like overly esoteric. I think it has like a really consistent, nice tone to it. I think there's like cool things with the different characters having like their own little personalities.
I love the character
but
personalities.
I like don't really I'm not like understanding like the deeper stuff, like the poems that are written on the ground. I don't know what that is. Like I don't really care. I'm kind of like I am reading the stuff, but I'm kind of like sure, like sorry that happened to you. Like I don't really care. Yeah, so I'm definitely not gonna. Maybe I'll look up lore stuff later, but I also don't feel like they're trying to. It also isn't that deep either. Like I do understand what's generally going on of the like, oh, you were taken or whatever.
Yeah, you were kind of kidnapped,
and then you like tossed on a pit, and now you're trying to crawl up, and there's like the city, and there's like a religion thing. Like I get like pieces of it, but I've had to write like the book report. Some stuff will be missing. Like it'd be like, oh, did you really read it? And I'm like, I skimmed the summary. I don't know, kind of thing. Yeah, my first 8 hours of Silksong were mostly hell on earth. I will say. It did start like pretty easy. Like when I was first playing it, at least contextually easy. When I was first playing it, like one of the things that stood out to me was if I didn't know anything about this game and how hard it's supposed to be and all of this other stuff, I would just think this is a regular game that seems like it'll get hard given the like Souls identifiers. And by Souls identifiers, I mean things like the fact that you heal and save at benches. Things like if you die, you lose your in-game currency, which are like these rosary beads, which are used to buy upgrades. Sometimes like materials, but mostly like or items, I guess. Not even just upgrades, because they're actually mostly not upgrades. They're mostly like items. So it'll be, you know, a tool that you can equip to your character, or like a mask shard that you can help to another resource kind of. Which is different than like Souls in that you're leveling up. So it's not like these games are not one-to-one by any means, but they have like elements of the DNA. And then I think the other Souls indicator is the run back for areas, even though Souls games have gotten rid of that because it's dumb, which we'll get into that later because I don't believe in the run back and I never will. But the first like 2 hours of Silksong, I was like, okay, this is cool. I found the game immediately just engrossing, I think, because it's like a 2D game and it's a Metroidvania. Like I like that genre a lot. I'm drawn to it. Like Ori's like a game that I really revere, and I see a lot of that in this game. And then when I looked it up, I was like, oh, it came out actually before Hollow Knight, like even the first one, which I thought was really interesting because I do feel like they are very similar games. But I liked it. I was playing it. I'm like, wow, I'm really just like, I sat down to play it, and on the day it came out, and I'd put in 2, like maybe 4 hours in it, like really easily. The time was just melting away. It was like really chill in that sense. And then I streamed it like the next day or whatever, having already gotten like further into the game. And now I'm like, okay, this game's like kind of getting really hard. Like I was dying a lot. I was like making a lot of mistakes. Granted, streaming is different than not streaming, but I was just like sort of starting to hit those like challenge points with stuff like, is it Hunter's March, right?
I think it's Hunter's March. Yeah.
Yeah. Hunter's March was, and a lot of people will talk about this as like, oh yeah, like just like don't. So many things to unpack. One, I do not fully subscribe to the idea that's going around online, which is if you hit a hard part of Silksong, just go explore somewhere else. I don't think that is inherently the solution. I think if you hit something that you don't want to do, you should go somewhere else. But I don't think it's like come back and it's automatically going to be kind of easier vibe. Sometimes it is. Like I did have that actually happen recently, which we'll get into later. But like the truth is, if you go to explore, there's just going to be something else that's hard. And it's like hard in a different way, which maybe will be easier to you or more interesting to you or more something you want to do.
Sure.
But I don't think there's a like, to me, and maybe Hunter's March is trying to convey this and I just didn't like buy into it in a way I should have. But there isn't a you're not supposed to be here vibe to this game. I don't think I'm supposed to be anywhere in this game. I think the game is just kind of antagonistic because it's like a challenging, like mean little world. And there's different ways like the areas are mean, right? It's like this one's poison, this one like the enemies are really buff, this one the enemies fly. Like there's different things that make them challenging, or like this one's a hard platformer, but like the entire world is kind of antagonistic. So the idea of like, ooh, clearly this is the place I'm not supposed to be, I feel like is like, I don't really buy into that. But what are your thoughts on that as like an exploration construction of the game?
Yeah, no, I think they I think you're right in that like there's not anywhere you're not supposed to be, because everywhere you're like there's nowhere you're supposed to be, kind of thing. I think the literal places where you are not supposed to be at any given moment are like physically blocked off from an ability or something like that. You know what I mean? So like I don't think this isn't like Elden Ring, right? The opening to Elden Ring where it's like, oh, you can go anywhere if you can survive. It's like, no, like you just physically can't reach some places because you don't have the right abilities. So there is like gatekeeping in that regard, but outside of that, yeah, no, it's just pick your poison. Like, do you want the challenge of platforming? Do you want the challenge of combat? Do you want to go somewhere else and maybe find some upgrades and then come back and do whatever? Like it's your choice to make. But there is no right or wrong approach to it. And I think that's really good.
I think sometimes there is a wrong approach, and then you're screwed because that's the thing. I think sometimes with Silksong, especially early on, like my first 8 to 12 hours, I do feel like I probably did make some wrong choices because I did spend a lot of time in Hunter's March. And maybe I should have gone somewhere else, but I don't know. There's not like a lot of way to know things in this game. You kind of just have to go with it and like whatever your results, like pick up the cards that you're dealt. Mm-hmm. But it's also weird because it feels like you pick a deck of cards and then you're like, oh, this is like a really good hand or not. Like it kind of isn't really in your control in that way. I think it's what makes the game cool, but also what can bite you in terms of like how much you're enjoying the game, even from like a challenge perspective. Or again, very famously, and I've told the story online a lot of times, but not here, I was in Hunter's March and I was working through it and I got to this arena and it was really hard for me. And I think I did actually leave for a little while and I did come back later and it was still hard and I was able to do it and it's like, okay, cool. And then that was that. But I found out like later that Chakra is supposed to come in and like help you out, but like she never came to help me, and to this day I don't know why. In the game's defense, I haven't Googled it yet. I'm sure Google has the answer somewhere, someone's guide or whatever, but like I don't get that. And the thing that really like warped my brain was after struggling in Hunter's March for a while, I'm like, you know what, let me leave then. Everyone's saying you should leave, I'm gonna leave. And then I felt like I was punished for having left. So then I was like, see, it's bullshit, like, or whatever. So since then I've kind of just been like, I'm just gonna do like my own thing and just like whatever. And hopefully the game will like catch me. But sometimes the game doesn't catch you, but maybe it'll like catch you later. So I've had like now that I'm further into the game, which will bring us to like our Act 2 conversation. Now I feel like I'm finally getting these like dubs over people, which obviously like other people's experience doesn't really have any bearing on my experience, but there is something that's like really satisfying about having that experience early on in the game, getting my ass beat, having other people have it easier, me feeling bitter as fuck. And then later when I go to that one platforming section in the sand area and you're like, I didn't have the double jump when I was here. I was like, damn, sucks to be you. I did. And I was like, finally, I feel like I'm getting like rewarded for the time and the effort I've put into the game. But those are my early impressions with Act 1, where like I was generally enjoying the game. Like I was interested in continuing with the game. But I did feel really like burned a lot of times. And the last thing I want to talk about with Act 1 is the diagonal pogo, which for people who like aren't playing Silksong every day, it's like you can jump and swipe down to like pogo off of enemies or sometimes environmental aspects. But in Silksong, that is like a diagonal where when you hit down on like the D-pad or the analog stick, you go at a 45-degree angle downward. So you have to like figure out the spacing. And I'm really good at platformers. And the way that platforming was incredibly hard to execute was something that like I didn't enjoy and didn't think was good. I feel like in platforming, like my perspective of platforming is good platforming is when the controls have to be tight enough to warrant like the level design it's in. Like obviously every platformer has like a bit of give where it's like, oh, maybe it's like a ledge grab. Maybe it's like the pixels give you like an extra give on like an area to make a jump. Like you're never platforming on your own. Yeah, you always have like the designer kind of like holding the backseat of your bicycle a little bit. But stuff has to be executable within the space. And I genuinely feel like the diagonal pogo, even though I did get good with it after a certain point, because I really worked on it, and I'm like, I'm gonna figure this out. I know I can do this, and I like got pretty good at it. I got good enough where I was like, you know what? Maybe I was tripping about the diagonal pogo. Maybe it's not. Maybe you just gotta learn it, because I've learned it, and maybe you just gotta learn it, because I feel like I'm doing it now. And then I got a crest that allows me to do the downward one, and I said absolutely that other thing was trash. So before we move on to Act 2, what are your thoughts on the diagonal versus the down for like jumping?
I mean, I think inherently like the down is easier in that it's like a very clear known direction. Like when you execute it, you know what direction it's going to be in, it's more intuitive to me that like down is down and an angle is
why
at
is
an
down
angle,
not down?
I mean? So I think that like for me, it was the crest that I used for the entire game. I still use it, now well into like sort of end game stuff. But if someone's like, oh, I actually like the diagonal because like that works better for my brain and the spacing works better for me, and it gets me out of trouble in some places. All right, fine, cool. I get it. I'm not gonna be mad at someone for that. I think it's a little weird that the diagonal feels almost like a more advanced mechanic. And so it's weird that they don't start you with just down is down.
Yeah.
And then introduce a diagonal as like an option for people to explore.
Yeah.
Like, later on kind of thing.
The only thing I can think to justify it is they maybe thought no one would do the diagonal, or like people would be less inclined to try the diagonal if they didn't already get to know it. I also feel like, and this is kind of one of my beefs with like the earlier sections of Silksong, like I feel like this game doesn't really get good, get great, get special until like 8 hours into it, which like, that's not to say that the first 8 hours are bad or that the game ever felt bad. It just felt like a regular game that was like a little bit annoying. It's like to me when I first started playing it. And then when I got further, when I got stuff like which again, this will depend on the order you go, because I know people that got all these upgrades within the first 2 hours of the game. For me, it took like 4, 6, 8 hours to get like the things I'm going to name. But like things, because the crests are like different. They're kind of like different setups, essentially, like almost like different builds. You can slot tools into like each crest has like different slots of like exploration tools, combat tools, and there's like a third thing I'm missing. Maybe like kind of like attributes, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like silk related attributes.
It comes down to like a blue, yellow, red kind of
and then
slots.
like a thing in the middle. So they all have like most of them have the same like 2 to 2 2, but they have like slightly different configurations. But the real difference is like they have a different, potentially like a different jump kind of implemented, different length to your like weapon, and then different DPS. Like, and maybe some people claim that they also have different damage output in general, but that's been contested. I don't know how true that is. I've had people like Jacob was like, oh, that's not true. And I'm like, I don't know. I read a spreadsheet somewhere that said maybe it was. I don't really know. Whatever. But also the game doesn't really tell you any of these things anyway. So whatever. But like you have these different crests. But like I didn't get a different crest for a really long time in the game. And honestly, if you didn't tell me they had like a different jump, I wouldn't know, because they don't tell you that they have different jumps. I just kind of heard that from people. So I knew that they did. And the dash. I think specifically the dash and a crest that lets you do a down pogo. Those are like the two keys where I'm like, oh, this game is like, it's fun to move around and traverse. While like before I had those things, it wasn't bad to move around and traverse, but it was like kind of, it felt old.
Sure.
It felt like I was playing like a really old, kind of boring game a little bit. I was never getting bored with Silksong, but it just felt very like regular. And this is part of my like beef of, I feel like there are some games, especially Metroidvanias, where like the fun's a little bit further in, and I'm like, why don't we just start where it's fun?
Sure.
Like, why do we have to wait? And again, I think the fact that you can get those a lot earlier, maybe it's just like, hey, I took like 12 wrong turns and I ended up having like kind of a dry, very difficult time. Because not only do things get easier with those upgrades, I also think they just get more fun. Like, I feel like you can really play with the tools that you have. And before that, I feel like I am just like fighting for my life, and that was kind of it. But yeah, towards the end of Act 1, things were more like chill for me, because I felt like I could like, I'm going around, I'm kind of in the flow of like what the Metroidvania construction is, and everything was like fine and dandy. And then Act 2, I'm like really enjoying Act 2, and I'm enjoying Act 2 a lot more than Act 1. But what were your thoughts on the Act 2 section. Spoilers, you're in Act 3 already, into like the post game, bonus game, end game. I don't know really what you want to call that stuff, but yeah, how have your like thoughts like grown over time as you've been playing it?
Yeah, I think it's gotten better over time for sure, right? I think Act 1 felt like a better holistically, and this is like obviously a very oversimplification of things. Act 1 felt like a better version of Hollow Knight 1, right? In that like just the main idea of exploring these areas, unlocking abilities, doing whatever, fine. Act 2 felt like a like meat and potatoes sequel to Hollow Knight, where it's like, oh, like now that we're getting into all of the new bosses and stuff that open up, and the backtracking, the missions, this, that, and the third, it's like, okay, like now I'm starting to feel like this is like at its heart the sequel to Hollow Knight, like in that like is the areas you unlock and the abilities and traversal and all this stuff, like it's like, okay, like this feels good, this feels really good, like this feels like we're there. And then now that I'm into Act 3, it's like this is like the blending of both of those things, where it's like it feels like late game Hollow Knight 1, right, where you have all the abilities, you can go everywhere, you can do everything, but it also feels like the evolution of Hollow Knight, like a sequel to Hollow Knight, where it's like, oh, like they've given me the niceties that I want, they've introduced bosses that are meaningfully difficult without being like just punch you in the face the entire time. You know what I mean? Like I've fought harder bosses in Act 2 than anyone in Act 1 or in Act 3 so far. But like I don't think that the bosses are easier. I think I'm just better. And so like it's elevated with me kind of thing. So yeah, I think the game is just, progressively gotten better the more you play, the more you unlock. There's like moments of, I'm not going to say boring, but like of less interesting, less engaging moments of the game for sure, where it's just like, oh, I have to go here. Okay, well now I got to go there and just talk to this guy. Like there's a little bit of that here and there throughout, all 3 acts really. But again, once you get into Act 3, they give you some more tools, more progression, more traversal things, and it's like, okay, well it's not that bad. Like it feels very late game without being sort of distilled down to just like chores. Like there's still engagement, there's still fun, there's still challenge. I think the game unfortunately does suffer from one of the biggest gripes in Hollow Knight 1, which is like it just doesn't tell you shit. like yesterday you were going through the mist and it was just like, how do I get through? Like what am I doing here? What is the purpose of this? How'd you figure it out? And I was like, I didn't. I just looked it up because I got tired of trial and erroring and then failing. And eventually it was like, oh, like to get through the mist, you have to do a thing. And it's like, I don't know. Would I have eventually landed on trying that thing? Maybe. But I hadn't in the, hour plus of time that I spent just like trying different things. And so it's like, well, all right. I wish there was a little bit more, there's a little bit more stuff like kind of taught to you or told to you, and it wasn't just leaning so heavily on like community sort of involvement.
Yeah, I think also just like it's weird because I think there's some things, and I'm trying to remember exactly what they are because it's a lot of Act 1 stuff that I feel like is very not explained. Like I think the way the crests work is very unexplained.
No, yeah.
Like to the point of being kind of insane.
Yeah, it's like, oh, equipped it, try it out, and learn what it is.
Yeah,
like
things like that, like little stuff of like what you can do. I'm trying, I feel like you'd know these stories more than me. So if you have any anecdotes to share, feel free to. I don't mind getting thrown under the bus for like my forgetting things because a lot of times I'll ask you stuff and like because you're further than me in the game. Oh, and you'll like explain it to me because I'm like, yeah, it's not like. It's just like not in the game. There's also some things that are like, I think very like traditionally designed about Silksong that feel like they're there for tradition's sake. Things like your tools only being like equipable at the bench. It's like, I don't know. Or like there's like little stuff, which I guess I can live with the tools being equipable at the bench, but little stuff like not having like a prompt pop up to like, hey, do you want to like mess with your build when you're on the bench? Like you have to just hit the minus button. We're playing on Nintendo Switch too. It's like hit the minus button while you're on the bench, but there's no prompt that says to do that.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like little stuff like that. And again, as you play and get used to stuff, like all of this doesn't matter. And I think that's kind of like where I land with Silksong. And like, I am really enjoying the game. Like this is like very high up on my like end of year list. It's really phenomenal, really fun. But it is one of those things where the things I don't like about the game are all in the beginning of the game. And as I go, those things are either like become kind of irrelevant where it's like, oh, well, I'm just kind of used to doing this, so it's fine. Or I just keep getting things that I like. So that's what's nice about like Silksong and continuing with it, where it's like a lot of the worst parts of the game to me are very front loaded, which is kind of unfortunate because like the beginning of the game is the main thing people will play of your game. But I will say like on that end, I think I've been telling people, obviously, like, do what you want with your gaming time. Like, I'm not saying, oh, you have to, like, whatever. But for, like, you know, we talked about eventually wanting to make that site how long to hate, how long to rate or whatever. For me, the true how long to hate/rate on this game, to speak with, like, more accuracy, in my opinion, which I'd like to hear what your take is on this, is getting to the final boss of Act 1, which was the Last Judge. I don't think you have to kill the Last Judge. I think if you see him, you now know if you, like this game and or think it's good. Because you've seen, to me, enough of the game. Like, I think if you stop there, you'll miss the best parts of the game. But I don't think, like, if you're there and you're like, I don't like playing this, I don't think you're going to be like, and now I love it in Act 2. Like, I think you've seen what the game is.
I think it's a quote a lot earlier than that, in that I think by the time you get there, you definitely know. Like, that is for sure 100%. I think you can know well before then. I think once you get to, which for you, this is weird because you did it in a different order. So like, sure, maybe. I say the Bellheart boss. Like I did that boss well before I got to the Last Judge, which is like the guy at the organ where like you drop down.
Widow?
Maybe, yeah.
With the
sounds right.
Yeah.
So like, to me, I did the Bellheart boss like when I hit Bellheart, and so like
I did that boss right before I did the other boss.
Yeah,
so that
exactly.
it's the same spot for me.
So I think once you get to Bellheart, I would even say that because like to get to Bellheart, you got to go through Hunter's Marsh, you got to go through that bird section, you got to go through the lavas and all. Like you've gone through all of those like kind of like lower areas.
Yeah.
And so like if you get to Bellheart and you're not enjoying it, I don't think you're gonna enjoy the rest of the game.
I will say too, to the note of like Silksong in general, something that I think is really funny about like how I ended up happening to have played is I think I am really good at not getting any of the ability upgrades because I went like 20 hours, I feel like, without having like the double jump. And I was like, when am I getting this double jump? And it turns out, I forgot even where you get it, to be honest. But it's like, oh, I could have gotten this like a while ago, but like I just never went to this one spot.
Sure.
And I just kept like, it's basically like if it was in like a blue area, which I don't remember where it is. It's like I just kept like opening more of the green area, finding a gray area and a red. It's like I went everywhere except the area. And I think that's also why I'm like team, not that I'd even want to redesign this game because like I'm not a game designer. I'm probably fucking up to be honest. But it's like that's why I'm team like, give me that dash and give me a crest like early because it's like, if left to your own devices, you can avoid getting a lot of stuff for a long time. And that's not a bad thing. Like you get other stuff and you're still having fun with the game. But that's the thing. It's like, I think the tools that really make it fun are those two tools. But yeah, Act 2 has been going really good for me. I've been really enjoying it. I think the only gripe I have is like any fast travel system. Sometimes I don't know, I'm walking around a while to get to like the next elevator chute or like fast travel spot. There's a lot throughout, so it's not too bad, but it is like there are times where I'm like, well, I want to go over here. What's like the quickest way? And it's a little annoying, but I don't know if that's just going to be what it is unless you make it Breath of the Wild style, which I wouldn't mind if it was Breath of the Wild style, man. But I know why they wouldn't want to because they wouldn't want you to just get to leave any bad situation you're in or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I really love this game because of like the platforming, I would say. And then the other element of this game that I really like, which is a thing for me when it comes to like hard games, like I need this. If I don't have it, I like don't have a chance in playing it, is when you attack, you can get something that lets you heal. Because like in this game, and I know Hollow Knight's like similar, it's like you can attack and build up silk, and then you can use that silk to heal for 3 like masks, worth of damage or whatever. Cool. I can live now. Like without something like that, like I can't do it. It's like, it's also why I really like Lies of P, where it's like you can attack. Like I need an incentive to be aggressive because if left to my own devices and if not given opportunities to heal, I will just be avoidant, and then I'll end up taking a really long time to play something, and then everything is 8 times harder than it needs to be. So like that flow really fits the design well. It fits my play style well. And then I love the platforming in this. They have great platforming sections, but also the platforming can be a great tool in combat. And like I think that's when you really see me cooking in an arena, it is because I am platforming.
Sure.
And I think the times where it's like, oh, I've cleared something that like you've taken a longer time with, it's because I'm really good at platforming. So I'll just pogo, but I'll just kind of infinitely like just do stuff.
Sure.
I think I also just have good abilities to like weave in a crowd at times, which again, I'm like, this is just platforming, but the platforms are moving. So it's like, let me like dive between. Like I have good environmental sense. And like, I think that's a big like part of how even combat encounters are designed a lot of times in this game.
Sure.
But yeah, it's been super fun. And the other thing I want to speak to is like, this is a Metroidvania. This is interesting because I feel like it is one of like, it doesn't feel like a Metroidvania in some ways to me. And I think that's because it's well designed, which sounds like such a read of the genre. But I think so much of Metroidvania is like a little stiff and very backtracky. And this is a game where like I'm backtracking a lot, but I don't feel like, I think Silksong does a really good job at hiding a lot of the gatekeeping parts where you mentioned like, oh, there's a spot that's blocked off. Like there are things in this game where like I didn't even know this spot was blocked off because I didn't really realize what would open it up. And I think that's part of them having like a couple cute upgrades or like abilities that you get that allow you to like do things that you wouldn't like think of. It's like part of what I liked about Animal Well. Like I think those abilities were so fun because they were very like random. It's like firecrackers, and it was like very creative. It's still stuff that is basic, like, oh, I can tell this is like some type of double jump, and that's like the bubble wand in Animal Well. In Silksong, it's like the little wings, which are the double jump that you get. So there are times where I could see, like clock something and say like, okay, obviously like you need to get up high here, so this is probably going to be where I need like a double jump, and I'll mark it on my map. But there's a lot of other times where I'll make a note like that, and then it turns out it's not about an ability. It's just about like doing some weird workaround where like, oh, you actually have to uncover the top of this area, and then you'll drop a ladder, and that's how you can like get through like parts like that. So what I like about Silksong's construction is I don't feel, and this is part of why I don't feel like I ever get lost in this game, there's so many places you can go all the time, and it doesn't feel like I'm just waiting for my upgrade. Like, even though I did say like, oh, when am I going to get my upgrade? I don't feel like I needed the upgrade. I don't feel like, okay, well, I need a double jump. Where do I go get it? Let me look it up. Because I can keep playing the game without getting that. And I think like the how wide the options are for like traversal and order and like experiences makes for like a really fun time. And it's cool talking to other people who like might be the same spot as me or even the same hour count as me, but they're having like a completely different experience. It's also part of why I think Act 1 kind of struggles a bit because it is so open, but you have like nothing. So you could end up just being like naked kind of in the game for a long time. And like, that's kind of how I felt in Act 1 a lot of times because I did like make some decisions that, again, in Act 2, me going, ABC and you going FGT, like that difference isn't really that different. Like, sure, it's like, oh, I got like this pouch upgrade or something like that, but it doesn't really change like the core experience because we have a lot of like core abilities the same. But in Act 1, it is like, I have nothing. And you're like, I'm like jumping around and I'm like, okay, well, I have nothing. So everything is like kind of shit because I don't have anything.
Yeah.
But you're in Act 3. Or do you think you're like going to stick with it? Or I know you've been kind of going back and forth on whether or not you want to like fully complete it.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point it is a much slower roll for me because like I don't think this is spoilers or anything like that. Maybe it is. If you really don't want to know nothing about Act 3, then sorry you've listened this far. But like Act 3 is much more boss heavy.
Yeah.
As far as like,
which is insane because I feel like the regular game is boss heavy.
Yeah. And so like I'm at what I think is the like final boss before getting to like the final boss kind of thing. Like I'm at the red dancer lady. I don't know their name. I don't know any character's name really. I've been saying.
Well, they only showed the name once, I think, or maybe they do show it every time you fight them. I don't remember.
Maybe if you talk to them as well. I don't know. I don't know any character's name in this game. I know their personalities, and I'm fighting the red dancer lady. And like having a good time. It's a tougher fight. I tried it a handful of times and haven't been successful yet. But it's like all the other kind of Act 3 bosses. I've managed to get over. This one's a little bit more of a challenge for me. So it's like I guess I'll just keep slow rolling it, try it every, pick it up, try a couple sessions, put it down, come back later. Like I'm not beelining just to finish it kind of thing. Yeah. I'm like at the point where it's like, all right, well, at any point I could put this down, not pick it up again, and I'll feel complete. Like I rolled credits. I am happy with where I am. If I don't go any further, then that's fine. But if I can finish, fully finish Act 3 and everything like that, then it's all right, great.
I'm definitely going to roll credits, and I'll try out Act 3. Some people have told me there's some really good platforming in Act 3, but because I know Act 3 is like leaning more of a boss rush, and the bosses are like my least favorite part of the game on a technical level, like they can be fun to do, and it is satisfying to beat them, but ultimately, like what I like about Silksong is exploring, not like fighting a really strong thing. That's just me. I know it sounds like weird because it's like that's such a big part of the game. But like I'm Team Explorer. Let me know in the comments or if we do a poll or whatever. Like I've met a couple people like that, like Jenny from Indie Councils like that, which is also and it's funny because all the Explorer people have like really high hour counts and the regular people have like regular hour counts. So like what is your hour count in Silksong? Which obviously you're further than me. Yeah. But I'm curious to know where you're at right now.
I looked it up at the beginning of the recording. I'm at 56 and a half hours.
I'm at 54 and I'm like significantly further behind than you are.
Yeah. I will say though, this isn't like completely accurate because we both to some degree, I think you more than me, but like we'll just like leave the screen on pause or something like that while we eat lunch or something like that. I'm just saying we both do that. You do it more than I do, but it is still... I'm just throwing it out there. All right, don't give me a look. I'm just throwing it out there.
Look, I do leave the screen up sometimes. I've never left it up while I eat like an entire meal.
You did yesterday.
When? What did I eat?
After E came over, I don't know. It was like you just had it up there for like a while you were just moving around the house. And I was like, oh man, should I like close your thing? It doesn't matter.
I go to the home button, the home screen a lot. I don't know if that still counts.
No, you were at the pause.
Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe you're turning on my Silksong game to add an extra 30 hours to my count or something when I'm not looking. But something that like I am starting to like come up against a little bit in terms of like a critique is the side quests and kind of having to like go and clean. And I know you don't have to do them because they're side quests, but like sometimes you get cool stuff or whatever. And like I am kind of starting to come up on this point where it's like, do I just want to look some of this stuff up? Like I've been avoiding using guides like mostly, though I have the ultimate guide, which is just asking you for the answer because you looked up a guide already. Yeah. So that has been helpful. But stuff like The Great Taste of Farloom, it's time to just look that up because it's like it's you need to get ingredients for something. I think that's how you get like a thing that lets you upgrade your needle or whatever. So I'm like, look, I got 2 of them, but like I'm sorry, I can't organically find where the courier's rasher is. Maybe that makes me a bitch. I don't know, Team Jerry, but I don't know where that is. Or like mossberry stew. I'm sure I remember seeing somebody who makes a stew. It's that fucker from the first quest that I couldn't do either. I don't know where these things are. They're not marked on your map, really. Like I guess they kind of are with like, sometimes there's like a little doodle on some places to kind of denote something's there, but it's like, I don't know what that is. Yeah. And I feel like if that is supposed to indicate something, why don't you just have a regular indicator? There's also like little tiny gripes I have of things that I do think require like, I've had to take out the Moleskine notebook for this game because I can't remember what any of these markers are. And even like the vendor markers. Cool, there's a vendor. Which vendor is it? Sure. Where's that thief guy who's selling stuff? Yeah. I don't know. I'm just going to go back to all my vendor markers and then write it down because it's like the only way to do it. So, and that's where the extra 32 hours of my playtime comes from. Yeah, but no, that's fair. But yeah, it is really fun just I think pushing into more areas of the map and constantly being surprised by how much more of the game there is in different spots. Like when you, and I think that also I think is what works for this game, where the worst part of Metroidvania is backtracking to do something. But in this game, when I'm backtracking, I feel like I get stuff out of the backtrack. Like even if it's something like finding my map markers, like I'm going to go to all my old map markers and see what's going on and like try to push in further if I can. And like on the way, like you can kill enemies to get shards or rosary beads, or you can even just like notice a spot that you haven't noticed before. And then that opens up like a whole new area that like loops into something else. So I think that part of the game is like really well constructed and like really special and very cool. And I think that's kind of their like secret sauce on the Metroidvania formula, like this nice combo of never feeling lost and constantly like feeling like you're uncovering more things and not just like you're allowed to go more places, which I think too many Metroidvanias have that feeling of like, I guess I'm waiting to go to this section and like maybe I missed something, maybe I didn't, but you don't really have incentive to go back and like poke around at old things for the most part because you're just looking for like where are the next like, now I can double jump. So like, where's my double jump spot? And then you're like doing that. So yeah, very cool. Really liking it. And I think, I don't know. I haven't hit a lot of big pain points in terms of difficulty. The hardest thing in this game for me was the Hunter's March and that arena that's like
halls,
that's like 10 stages. And that one boss that I was really mad at. I don't remember who that was anymore.
The Beastly?
No, he was annoying too, but I really hated the cook. The cook in the poison spot. And I didn't like the mist either, as well. Like I know this game is like on the side of hard in a way that I don't enjoy when I'm literally yelling out loud, this game is too hard. I can't do it. I can't do it. Why are they making me do this? I don't want to do it. That's when I know that's too much for me. Most of the stuff has been like on the more like fine side of things. But yeah, I'm sure we'll swing back to do, whenever I beat it / you decide you're finished with it. I guess you're still eating it. Because one thing I think would be fun to do is like to talk more specifically about maybe some of the like bosses and like which ones we found to be the hardest, because I do think Alana Pierce had mentioned this, I think on her like Blue Sky or her Instagram stories or something, but she mentioned that it's crazy how for so many different people, like everyone ranks the boss difficulty differently, and it's because like so much of the difficulty is based on like
when you fight them.
Not even when you fight them, but like what skills you bring to the table. So like, not to throw Alana under the bus, but me and Alana, I think we might be bad at geometry because those ones that are like the Widow where it's very angular.
Sure.
Like we both found that harder than like Last Judge or Final Judge or whatever. So it's like, it's very based on your vibe.
Sure.
So, it's definitely giving a little something for everybody. But before we move on from games, you've been playing a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Little tip of the hat to Pokemon.
A little tip of the hat to Pokemon, ZA, Legend ZA. I'm enjoying it. Do I think it's, again, quick thoughts. I'm enjoying it. It's a new Pokemon game. I like some of the changes they made. I dislike some of the changes they made. I am very lukewarm. I understand a lot of people's gripes with the game. Some of those gripes I have, a lot of them I don't. But like as a whole, having a fun time battling Pokemon. I got me, my friend Feraligatr, my friend Charizard. We're going through. We're fucking kicking ass, taking names.
Once you got Charizard, I saw like the shift happen for you internally.
Awesome. I am a basic boy. Give me Charizard, I'd be happy. And yeah, so still working through it. I think I'm at sort of end of game stuff. Like
the game feels a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be. Though granted, I feel like
I think I'm like
heavy
40
hours.
something hours.
That's
into
insane.
It,
I think.
I feel like I don't know if that's long for Pokemon. Like I feel like that's probably par for the course for like a Pokemon
I feel like
game.
30 or 35, which isn't that different from 40, but like I feel like that's normally what I more put into it. So I'm a little surprised, like, because I feel like you've almost been done with a game for like a week now. Yeah, and the fact that you're still playing it, I'm like, oh, that's a lot. But
so yeah, I'm like rank B now. So like I think I have to imagine I'm at sort of the tail end of the game. And yeah, so I'm curious when you play more, if you play more, to see where you are and how you feel about it.
I want to have played more. I think so I'm like only 5 or 6 hours into it. I like it generally. I do think it is good. Like just clearing good. If someone said it was just okay, I'd be like, I understand. But I think it's at the point that I'm at and how I feel about it. I think it's a good game, but I don't think it's as good as Arceus.
I don't either. I agree with that.
And so in that sense, I think it's a step back for the Legends franchise. But there's kind of pros and cons to their battle system, but I generally like it. I think it's nice to just do something a little different, even though I think it has flaws. Honestly, I wish it kind of had what Rebirth has, which is like a slowdown effect to like the real-time combat, because I do find that even though it's like an easy enough game, I find aspects of the combat to be inscrutable in the real-time system. Like I feel like I can't read anything in time. I don't look at the animations. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of just like throwing stuff out there. But the nice thing about the real-time formula is I feel like I'm switching out my Pokemon a lot more. I feel like the go at night and like fight the other trainers has like it's nice to like feel like there's a little bit of stakes in Pokemon. And I feel like there is that like, how long am I going to stay out there? Because am I going to run out of Pokemon? Are my Pokemon dying? I'm using items a lot more. And especially on the early side of things, again, I hear this kind of like peters out a bit as you get like stronger, but it feels like I have to think a bit more about how long I want to like go for battling. So that's cool. I like that part. I like the clothes. Very cute.
Clothes are really good, which is unfortunate that that's like where all of the aesthetic energy went into.
Yeah,
this game.
And I think for like quick cons or drawbacks, the thing that's keeping me from playing more, besides the fact that I genuinely am just playing a lot of Silksong, I've been very laser focused on that. In general, this year, I wanted to be, and I think I've been successful at this, even though I wish I just had done more and everything, because that's kind of how you always feel every year. This year, I want to come out of the year being like, okay, maybe I missed 2 or 3 games or whatever, but I did beat these other games that I like wanted to finish that I liked, because I think a lot of times come end of the year, like I'd rather, like in my mind, I would rather not start an incredible game. Shots of Root Trees Are Dead. I'm going to get to you, I promise. Than have started 3 games and been like, this is really good, but I didn't have time to like, I want to just like see some stuff through a little bit more. And I think I've been pretty good at that, except for Blueprints. Sorry, Blueprints. Clear Obscure came and knocked you out. That was my bad though. I should have known. Well, here's the thing. I had no idea that Clear Obscure was going to be as good as it was.
Yeah.
If I knew, but I should have maybe suspected that it might have been, because what I should have done was said, I'm going to make sure I play Blueprints before Clear Obscure comes out. And then maybe I would have been safe or whatever. But yeah, so for that reason, like I did try Pokemon to like, you know, for the content, but I've been kind of like slow rolling it. But also it's the kind of game that I think you can play like a lot more jump in. But I think the other thing that's stopping me from playing more of it is like probably my biggest critique of the game at this point, which is it's too slow. It starts so slow. It starts so slow. It's so boring. And I know every Pokemon game, the story is mid. That's always been true. But this genuinely, I think this is their worst story they've ever done. It's such a drag. It's such a slog. And like, I feel really like, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels very like forced and generic to me. And I know people say that's all of them, but I don't know. It just feels like I get there. Like I've never had a story move so fast and yet feel so slow. Because immediately it's like I'm in this team. There's like allies, and then like we have like a Pokemon gang. I guess I'm in. There's this old man. Like I don't know what's going. Like I feel disoriented, but also bored at the same time. For this structure. So yeah, that's really been like grating on me a bit. And yeah, there's other drawbacks to ZA I think too, but like that's kind of just where I am right now. Where like I'm excited to keep going and like capture more Pokemon and really build my team. Like I feel like my team is barely like starting to come into focus since they made me start with that like fuck ass Bunnelby. But then I got Big Bunnelby and he's been fun because they still have the what do they call them, the alphas in this where they're giant and have red eyes. That's really fun. So like I think there are like cool things in here, but definitely like if people always ask, oh, should I like I've been away for a while, should I just, I think if you haven't played the last couple Pokemon games, you should play Legends Arceus. And then I would play this game, and I would just skip Scarlet and Violet in general because I hate Scarlet and Violet. But yeah, so it's sort of like a Pokemon ZA. I'm like, I'm glad you're better than Scarlet and Violet, but I wish you were as good as Arceus or better, because you can also be better than Arceus. Arceus wasn't perfect, but in my memory, it was perfect. Like I know that's like not true, and I'm sure if I went back and listened to the deepest dive I did, I'd have my critiques. But like when I think back to that game, I have nothing but good things to think about. And that hasn't been true for like a while.
Sure.
Though I really like Sword and Shield, so I'm a Sword and Shield defender.
Yeah, man, you're crazy.
Did you try it?
I haven't tried it. So.
Oh, you didn't try it? Come on.
I feel
that's
like
fucking nuts.
I think it could be good. I
gotta see if I still have it. I can give you my copy if I have the physical copy.
I think you do, but
why do you not want to?
Maybe after Zia,
you let the Dexy people get in your ear, Isaiah. What didn't you want to play about it?
I think there was just because was that the one with the Galar regions, right? Or
the Galarian types?
The Galarian, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Because it's like I get sick of when Pokemon just like
Galarian
Pokemon
forms.
does too much.
Oh,
like
I'm sorry. So you don't want the fucking unicorn Rapidash?
No, I don't want any of that. I want leave my Rapidash as Rapidash. Stop making new just everyday objects, turning them into Pokemon.
I don't know. You kind of sound like a bigot. If I'm being honest.
No.
I miss when Pokemon were Pokemon.
No. I'm just saying, stop. Why are you going back and adding like 8 more evolutions to Rapidash? Why is there a Mega Evolution and then a Gigamax evolution thing?
But there's always like tropey stuff in Pokemon.
I hate that. That's what I hate.
So you don't like the alphas?
No. I mean, they're fine. Like it's an alpha is fine conceptually because it's the same Pokemon, just bigger. That's fine. I don't need to get another item and then waste an item slot on my Pokemon to give it this stupid stone so that it can do something and become relevant again in combat.
The Galarian forms are variants. They're not necessarily evolutions. So if you know anything about Pokemon, don't reply.
Pokedex entry.
Don't explain it to me.
Why is Galarian Slowpoke the same entry as regular Slowpoke? Make it a new entry with the new types or whatever, the new looking.
Well, first of all, there is no Galarian Slowpoke. So
yeah, there is.
Is there? I looked up Galarian Slowpoke.
I got one in
ZA,
so I don't know.
A Galarian? Oh shit! Actually, is it the one with the yellow head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
never mind. I stand corrected. The point is,
the
point is, you're thinking too much about this. That's the point. Like, honestly, this is a complete joke. So, like, don't take it seriously. If you know that much about Pokemon, you in too deep, and you need to dial it back. You need to bring back the casual vibes. Okay, we're not here to fucking hyper analyze the fucking monsters. They're your friends. You pick them up because they're your friends. Anyway,
Scorbunny is cool, so I probably would.
I think. Look, Sword and Shield. I'm telling you, man, it's aging. Like, I wouldn't say it's aging like a fine wine, but it's aging like you pull something out of your pantry and you're like, surely this is expired. And then you realize actually it doesn't expire for like 5 years. That's Sword and Shield, baby. Is good. It's good. And you like soccer now, so I think you'd like it also more because it has those big soccer stadiums that you fight in.
Okay.
That was my other theory. I'm like, motherfuckers hate Sword and Shield because they don't fuck with soccer. But
I mean, who knows? Maybe. I like the direction with the Legends series where they're moving away from the same basic boring formula that every Pokemon game is.
But are they just introducing a new basic formula?
I mean, maybe, but at least that new basic is new.
Okay, last questions before we move on from games. Generally feeling it out, your top 10 games of the year. Is Silksong in there? And is Pokemon ZA in there?
Silksong, yes, for sure. ZA, maybe by just definition of having to pick 10 games that came out this year.
Okay.
That I played.
Cool. For me, Silksong's definitely in there. In Pokemon ZA, this is going to sound toxic, but I'm going to try not to.
Yeah.
If I haven't played, like, I refuse to believe that I haven't played 10 games better than Pokemon ZA. And that's not even like I hate the game. It's just like, it is a very fine game.
I mean, but I'm not gonna lie. When I look at the games that came out this year, Clair Obscure, easy.
Keep Driving, which I know you don't care about.
Yeah. Wasn't it last year though?
No, that was this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Though I guess I'll Google it now because I'm getting paranoid. That it wasn't, but I think it was this year. After that, I do think it starts to get like those are my only locks.
Yeah.
Like hard locks. Like I know for a fact those are going to get there. Other things I think about: Split Fiction.
Oh, Split Fiction's on there.
Honestly, I know you don't care about this game. Lonely Mountain Snow Riders.
You did really like it.
I think that game is like way better than Pokemon ZA, which is like it's kind of weird comparison. Other ones I would consider, Despelote / and Roger, like kind of the story vibes. I don't know if either of those are making it.
Blueprints is on there for me.
This game is about the same quality as Pokemon ZA, so like whatever. But honestly, I was rocking with South and Midnight. I can see that being like a number 10. Yeah. Like on the weekend of a good, you know what I mean? Like, but once you get down to number 10, number 10 is obviously like still one of the best games of the year. But we all know number 10 is kind of like where the freak show pick gets in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, let me see what my number 10 was last year.
I really like this game. All the controversies around it note it, but like the altars, I thought mechanically and like strategically was a really good game.
The altars was just too complicated for me.
Totally fair.
Like last year,
Monster Train 2. Oh my god!
Last year, my number 10 was Helldivers 2, and my number 9 was Cryptmaster. So it's like kind of those. I mean, Helldivers 2 is not a freaky game, but it's free. It's a freaky pick for me because I don't really play those games. And then I also like Arco, which are other like. Again, none of those games are like bad at all. Those are great games, but they're like. You know what I mean? They're like kind of barely making the cut kind of vibe. So
that makes sense.
So I feel like we'll see what's going on. But yeah, 10 games, you know, there can only be 10. But I definitely need to.
If only you could put Slay the Spire.
My inspiration. Again, this is gonna sound toxic. It genuinely is not me trying to show him Pokemon because I've had years where Pokemon's been in my top. Like I think when Arceus came out, that was in my top 10 for that year. And I think it was very deserving of that top 10 slot. But if ZA is in my top 10, that means I need to go find more games to play because it's just it's just not like. And I've had years like that too, where it's like, man, this like isn't really that great, but then what's like better than it? And I think there's some really good games that I've missed out on, like you know, even just finishing Blueprints. There's a chance I put Blueprints in there. I kind of want to beat it so I can put it in there. Not that I require myself to beat the games, but I think the only thing that's going against Blueprints is just that I haven't beaten it. Though I do have gripes with it now that I've gotten further into it and stuff, but like. Yeah. Anyway, we'll be checking in as we approach Gang of the Year. Any final games thoughts before we end our game section?
I don't think so. Just trying to find more time to actually like I'm looking at my list of games now, and I realize I have like 4 games unfinished, which is very much not like me. Games that I've picked up, made significant progress in, and then just got sidetracked with other stuff. Moonlighter 1. I wanted to go back and play that before Moonlighter 2. Inter Magnolia, the new one or whatever. Another Metroidvania. Made a good chunk of progress in there. Really liking it, but then I think Silksong came out and it's like, all right, well, this is just a better Metroidvania, so let me play this.
Yeah.
Monster Train 2. Loved the little bit that I played so far. Definitely want to go back and play more of it. I loved Monster Train 1. And then this one, we're gonna have to just like, it's another Final Fantasy VII situation.
Oh,
Donkey
Bonanza.
Kong Bonanza.
Yes, I do want to finish that.
Just gonna have to force myself.
We're gonna
to
lock in and finish it together.
God, this game is.
Neither of us like this game, but we want to. Would you count this as a hate finish, Isaiah?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank God, finally.
No, this game. I'm sure we can go all day long about how bad I think Donkey Kong Bonanza is, how unfun it is.
Banana.
Yeah, that's the best part.
This is gonna crazy, like super mean take. Donkey Kong Bonanza is like the fucking opposite of Silksong. Yeah, it's like boring combat, uninteresting exploration, just looking like dry ass game, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so yeah.
But yeah.
So I got like 4 unfinished games that are just waiting for me to get back to them.
The good news is, again, kind of back to my sort of goal, I don't actually have. I got to add ZA in here. I got to start keeping better track of my games because I did start playing that. But I don't really have games that I'm like juggling a lot right now. Like I really just have ZA and Silksong. Like what other game am I playing?
You finished your big one.
Yeah, I finished Persona. Oh yeah, Persona 5 Royal. We should maybe talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
Just like what is it like to live in a game for 300 hours? Yeah, God. Oh, I just got re-triggered from thinking about it. I'm gonna break out knives. But yeah, I did beat Persona 5 Royal, so shout out to that. Yeah, so like this year, the theme of this year is focus. Focus. So I gotta just like now I gotta bring in, I have the focus, I just gotta bring in volume a little bit because I do think I haven't found my like 10 yet and the year is almost done, so I really need to like try to find. Maybe I will go back and finish Blueprints. Jill, if you're listening to this, I know you've been telling me
I think you can.
Blueprints.
I think you can.
I gotta open up that old iPad and know. I'm gonna need your help for sure. I don't know what the fuck's going on in this shit.
We shared the notes, so all the notes are in there. You just gotta honestly, you just gotta get lucky with the roll. Like there's obviously some stuff you could do to you know.
Well, I still don't even know how to get in there into the room at this point.
Okay, fair enough.
Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I do want to try to do that on my own. If I need to, I'll like pull you in for the answer.
Sure.
But one of the things I'm testing with Blueprints is it dumb friendly?
Yeah.
And so far my take is almost, but until I can roll credits, I can't give this my two thumbs up, you know? My dumb stamp of approval. Anyway, that's games. And with that, Shaw. And now for the not game section, we are talking about our wedding and our Minimoon that we did to Universal and Disney. We did it, Isaiah.
Yeah.
It's over. The wedding can't hurt us anymore.
The wedding can't hurt us anymore. Oh my gosh.
What a long, strange trip it has been. Let's start with like a little overview, how it went day of, and then we'll talk about the real meat and potatoes, the planning that went into it. Oh my God, I'm just getting secondhand stress from my past self just thinking about it. But for the wedding overall, because we haven't really talked about it much on the internet or on content until after the fact, which I think was a great decision. Because the thought of anyone now, y'all comment away. I don't care. But the thought of anyone commenting before, I can't do it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I wouldn't be able to handle the noise. It would be too much. So we had a what I would say like a pretty traditional wedding, which is to say that there was like a ceremony, cocktail hour, reception. It had a lot of the traditional bells and whistles of, like cutting the cake and a first dance and like a bouquet toss and things like that.
Yeah.
But we were missing a couple of the other like elements. Like we didn't do a garter toss. We didn't do like parent first dance. We didn't do like a bunch of speeches. We also did not have a bridal or
just wedding parties.
Wedding party in general. Which I would say the lack of wedding party was probably like the biggest zag from like the traditional scope. Cause I think a lot of other things are like not that uncommon to skip.
Sure.
But yeah, we had what I think most of the internet would qualify as like a medium to like the low end of large, depending on how you bucket things, wedding. So close to 100 guests. I think we had like 96 or something like that.
Yeah. A little shy of 100.
So that was the size. It was at Castaway, which is a restaurant that is up here in the valley in Burbank. And I think those are like the high level kind of things. We had a DJ. We had a photographer that we paid extra for the second photographer. So we had like two photographers really. A day of coordinator.
Yep.
And that's kind of it because the food and the cake was included with the venue.
Yeah, the florists come out.
The florist is as well. And notably, we were our wedding planners. A lot of people said, oh, who'd you have planned? It's just, you're looking at them. It's us. But that's the setup. Isaiah, how did it go?
I think it actually went incredibly well. I think that we got really lucky with the day of weather, right?
Yeah.
Our ceremony was in a sort of like outdoor courtyard kind of space. We're in, the LA area. The weather's pretty consistently nice, just like year round. So like it was never too scary or dicey with like weather things. But I will say in October every year, there's like that 1 to 2 weeks of iffy weather where it does get a little rainy, it gets a little wet, gets a little cold, gets a little cloudy. Thankfully we missed that by like a day or two.
Yeah, we got married on a Sunday and that Tuesday it was pouring.
Yeah, so we really lucked out there. But hey, we did it. Everyone who made it out this way, it was fun getting family and friends to finally visit from out of town. Some people come to LA often, some people have never been to LA. So like just getting people in town, they could see the weather, experience the hills, and do this and do that. Everything I think in that regard worked out fantastic. The day of, I think execution was really, really good. I think there was like maybe 1, maybe 2 slip ups as far as just like people arriving a little bit late or this, that, and a third. But nothing that was like, throwing a wrench into the system that was the day kind of thing. It was good. It was just overall great. Morning started off fun with some shared movies between us. We didn't even intend to share.
Yeah, we were apart, but we ended up watching a lot of the same movies of like Oceans and whatever. I'm jealous that you were just like la la. Like I felt so stressed for parts of that morning.
Really?
Yes, I felt insanely physiologically
funny.
Stressed.
Well, you had a lot more going on than I did.
I did have more going on than you did. I had hair and makeup that morning. That was really it. And getting into my dress is more involved than putting on your suit.
Yeah.
But
I had to steam it. And
I did have more going on, but it was just like Yeah, maybe that was part of it, of like the amount of time, because like there were times in the morning where I was like, everything was really chill. Like when I was getting hair and makeup done and we were watching Hitch, it was my brother came over to hang out with me during that time, and he was involved in a lot of stuff. So I mean, shout out to everyone that was involved in the wedding, but my brother, especially, you know, he's the officiant, which I'm sure we'll touch on in a bit. And he also was like, sort of like our second, third in command. You know, obviously the coordinator is like the main person for the day of, but it's like, you know, he like drove me to where we got our photos done and, you know, helped me into my dress, and I had him steaming. He steamed my veil, like stuff like that, you know? But so some parts were like really chill and fun. It's like la la la. And then it was just like, all right, you got like an hour. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. And then, yeah, it was just like, the anticipation of it all created a lot of like stress for me. Like I felt stressed over that. The way I described it to like Sarah when we were talking about it after the fact was, it's like, because we did all those rides after. I'm like, it's like when you're on like a coaster waiting for the drop, and it's just like, it's like, what if that was like hours long? And it's like at a certain point, you're not gonna be stressed for like 4 hours, but like at a certain point, you're kind of be like, all right, it's almost there, you know. And again, and I think it's a great metaphor for it, because it's something good and positive that you want to do, but it's still just like, hey, you know what I want to have done? Like, I want to be in the down part where it's like, I don't want to be like climbing up and I'm looking around. And it's like,
I would say I had like, I don't know, 20 minutes of that. the morning of kind of thing, when it was like, all right, let me get to the venue. You know what I mean? Like it was like, all right, let me get dressed. Caitlin, our day of coordinator, came by to pick up some stuff so she could start setting up and everything at the venue. It was like when that happened, it's like, all right, cool. I guess I got to get out of here in like 15, 20 minutes. Let me like, you know, put on everything, you know, double check hair and jewelry or whatever. Right. And kind of like, you know, get going. And it was like, all right, cool. Time to go. And like, that's when it hit me for a little bit. But then like, I think we talked about it a little bit. We lucked out the day before doing like a welcome event. Yeah. And to me, that I was more nervous at the welcome event than I was the day of, which is, I know, really weird to say, but like before, like, you know, my friend Julian was the kind of first to make it to the welcome event. We were there for like, you know, maybe like a half an hour before folks started showing up, just because, you know, you get there early or whatever. Waiting there and waiting for people to start showing up and like feeling like this is it. This is the time. Like I was way more nervous and just like anxious than the day of. The day of, it was like, oh, I've seen like half these people already. Everything's in motion. Like I'm with friends. Like before, I was trying to tell like a coworker this, where it was like leading up to it, it wasn't until the welcome event and like well into the welcome event, seeing people, seeing friends, family, everything, that was like, oh, like this is not me getting up and like presenting at like a work event. This is me in front of family and friends and people I love, you know. Like it was a very like, it's a formal thing. It's like a very, you know, serious kind of event situation, but like the people there are friends. Like the people there are not scary strangers. They're the people who know us, the people we know. It is a much more casual situation than in my head building up was. And so it wasn't until seeing everyone that was like, oh no, this is actually gonna be fine. This is cool. This is chill. That's how I felt, at least. I don't know. Yeah. Apparently it was not a mutual universal feeling.
No. I didn't feel too stressed for like too long, but definitely like, I'd say like an hour before I had to leave or so. And then one thing that like definitely sort of would trigger me sometimes for the wedding was when I had to like have extra wait time that I wasn't expecting. So like when we were going to leave and like we couldn't leave yet because you were still downstairs. I'm like, great. So now I have to stand here for like another 15 minutes and wait. It's like, or like the other bout of nervousness I had was when we were like waiting in the ceremony space, not the ceremony, the reception hall. And then we were like gonna go to like walk down and get married, but like we were standing by the door for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, this triggered me. Like it's just like, okay, now it's like hyping it up again, and I'm like, stop. But after that, I didn't have any like nervousness at all. For the welcome event, I probably was also like anticipating people in a way, but I didn't feel nervous for that. I think I was more nervous thinking about like the wedding day that was the next day. But then like 1-2 drinks in the welcome event, I was chilling. I had a great time. Maybe I had a little bit too much of a good time because I think I went for like that third drink and that probably put me a little over the edge. But like I also found the welcome event to be like great training for like the day of the wedding, like from a sociological, like mental, and also like drinking and eating standpoint of like okay, like, how did it go? What did I like? What did I want to change or whatever? And then like kind of just running it back the next day. So like, I feel like the welcome event was like such a key. Obviously, it was like extra money. I mean, it can be cheaper if you want it to be, right? Like we paid for people's drinks, but we didn't have to do that. You could just make people pay for their own drinks. So there are ways to have a cheaper welcome event than what we had. But like with how we did it, it was extra money. I think it was completely worth it. We got extra time with people.
Yeah.
I talked to people for longer amounts of time than I got to talk to them at our actual wedding. So like I think that was really, really good. And I'm really glad that we did that. It also gave us like something to do the day before, I guess. That was kind of nice. So just like, I mean, I wouldn't have minded if we were just hanging out at home, but I think it just, I don't know, it like was a nice way to like fill the time. Because I think if we didn't do that, we would have just been checking into our hotel separately and just been like hanging out alone, which I think still could have been fun, to be honest. But I really liked that aspect of it. But yeah, any other thoughts on like the wedding overall and how it went? Anything that like stood out to you that you want to shout out?
Without getting too much into like the planning aspect of it, no. I think we lucked out more than, or not even more, but like I think we're really fortunate in the ways that we lucked out. I think that it was great having everyone together. All the weird and, you know, quote unquote like wacky ideas we had ended up working out really well, I think. A lot of the like non-traditional decisions we made with like the whole like officiant and no wedding party and things like that, like all of that stuff ended up working out really well. And there's obviously a chance you roll the dice with that. You know, like there's a reason it's called untraditional. But yeah, I think we just got lucky and it worked out. I'm glad everyone was able to make it and fly safe and get in well. You know, there's the whole like government shutdown, specifically the Burbank airport having like no air traffic controllers and stuff like that. Like so many things could have gone wrong that didn't, as far as we know. And just really, really lucky and thankful that it worked out.
Yeah, for me, top level thoughts before getting to planning. Yeah, I think it worked out great. It did go by fast, but it didn't go by insanely fast to me. Mm-hmm. But it definitely was quick in the sense that you don't really have time to like hang out with people very much. But I didn't feel like I was being rushed all day. Like a lot of people told me that for their wedding, they felt like they were rushed around and pulled to different places. I didn't feel like people were really pulling us, even though we did get pulled for certain things. Like we like took photos at sunset, and that was like, you know, a time that we weren't eating our salad or whatever. But like that didn't take that long. Like we obviously were told where to go for certain things, but like I think our coordinator really killed it with how she laid out the day. Obviously based on our feedback on what we wanted from the day, but like combining the like we do our little thank you speech and then we immediately do the first dance and then the dance floor. But like that being one chunk made it so that like it didn't feel like we were watching the clock all the time for like when's our next performance. And like I really felt like I could just enjoy the day, and anything I had to do, I would be told about it. And there weren't that many things I even had to do. So yeah, I thought it was like really chill overall. Yeah, it was just a fun, good day. And I was really glad that like, especially because of how nervous I felt at certain points before, like and hearing other people talk about their experience with their wedding, I was like, not worried, but I thought it was a lot more likely for me to be like, I'm nervous. Ooh, the ceremony. Okay, but now I'm nervous again because we have to walk in, or I'm nervous again because we have to do that. Like, and that's how I tend to be with things. Like, I tend not to feel relief in life until I do whatever the next kind of big thing on my mind is for like an event specifically. But for this one, I didn't feel that. I just felt like once we like did walk down the aisle, everything felt chill. I wasn't worried about anything. I wasn't nervous at all. I wasn't afraid of falling down. I wasn't looking at the clock. I mean, sometimes I would ask like what time it was, but like I wasn't really worried about anything, which is like kind of impossible for me. So I actually don't know how I like mentally but like I think just the people we had working with us and for us were just like good at it and made it like not feel crazy. But yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah, no. Shout out to the vendors for being good at what they do. Yeah. Being able to execute and go with the flow and work with us and figure things out. Like shout out to all the people.
Yeah, and I got fed a bunch of appetizers because the people would come up directly to me and give me the appetizers.
Yeah, so. Shout out D, making sure we had appetizers at our
the table too. I regret not eating more of the one at the table, but I was genuinely like pretty full from the appetizers. I ate like 6 pieces of like goat cheese on the crouton thing. I had like a bunch of I had like 3 coconut shrimps. Like I was like downing those appetizers. Into the planning. Do 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 do. I know I did the ESPN sound, but it just felt right. When did we like start planning that? Like, I guess how much time did we even have from when we got our venue to when we had our wedding? We definitely had less than a year. I think we had like
I can look it up.
Yeah, if you could look up when we booked our venue, and then I'll kind of talk about what we had before. Honestly, before booking the venue, I don't think we really had anything. If I'm being totally honest, what we had was I saved some videos from TikTok at different times. And we had like vague ideas of just like some of the things we like kind of cared about or wanted. Like, oh, we think we want like a really nice looking place because we know we don't really care about like decorating it. So like we knew that. We knew we cared a lot about like food and music. But honestly, like we didn't have anything like, and I know it's gonna make me sound like a fucking pick me, but I just did not have like, I know some, especially like women, it's like very popular for women to do. I did not have like a Pinterest board from when I was 12, 16, 20, 30, like of like my wedding. I like haven't been thinking about my wedding.
Yeah.
I've been planning for my wedding, but I'm just kind of like that. I don't really plan for stuff like that. Like I don't have like inspo for our house either, even though I want us to have a house. So we were like going off like not much. And we had like, I don't know, vague ideas of like things we maybe liked or like didn't like as much from just attending other people's weddings of like things we thought might be cool. Like, ooh, somebody had a photo booth. We thought that was really fun. Ooh, I like the ones that you climb inside and not just the ones that are like a ring light. Stuff, little stuff like that, but nothing like really concrete. And frankly, I don't think you can really do that much without getting that venue booked. So yeah, when did that happen?
We booked the venue at the end of February.
Yeah, that sounds right. And then, so once that was booked, because you can definitely look into some stuff if you really want to. Like you could look into like, here are some photographers I like, here are some DJs I like. You can do that like today, even if you like aren't even engaged. But you can't really make meaningful progress until you have the venue booked, because that's when you have your wedding date.
Yeah.
And every vendor is going to ask for like when your wedding date is on their forums. Even for just like generic inquiries, like you need to know your wedding date.
Yep.
So yeah, so you're kind of like blocked by that. And we picked our wedding date based on how far out can it be, because we knew we like didn't have like anything really planned. So we're like, okay, what's like not that close? And the only things we knew were that we didn't want June, because of all the SGF work I do, and also it's your birthday. And also literally like so many other reasons, money, like also how close it was to like when we're like, okay, what's like the furthest thing out that we can book kind of was the vibe, but ideally still within the year, because if I'm being totally honest, and I don't regret what we did, but I do think we were not very optimal. We spent that first like year or a couple months that we were engaged, we didn't do anything with that time, which I was like fine with at the time, but like we just kind of hung out. I know some people use that for like, let's start planning the wedding. Like we kind of just were like, we're gonna worry about that next year. And then we did, and then we didn't worry. We did indeed do. But at the same time, I feel like if we planned our wedding for longer, which let me know your take on this, I think we just would have been stressed for longer. I don't think it would have been a better wedding.
Better. I think it would have been, different maybe, but I don't think it would have been better.
Yeah.
Like the day would have been just as good.
I think the only thing that like, in which I didn't list out like name your regrets, but my only regret, because the only real big point of stress that I feel like I had, I mean, there were two. Like making the DJ playlist stuff was like definitely hard, but we'll get to that like late in a second. My personal biggest stressor, especially because of like how life shook out, where I had a lot of work travel and stuff, was like not getting our save the dates out at like a good time, and also struggling to get like the invites out at a good time as well, because the actually the save the dates were fine. The invites were stressful because we were waiting on like engagement like photo edits to come back, and to that end, I probably would have like speed ran the photographer a bit more, because the photographer we used for the wedding, we ended up also paying them to do our engagement shoot, which we then used for the invites and the wedding website. So because of that, a lot of stuff was tied to the photographer and getting that done. I will say like another thing tied to that, like, and that's something I didn't like conceive of before, like how many things were like tied to other things and how that might impact you. So that'd be my big recommendation. And then one thing that I did that I've heard other people do that I thought was smart was I found my hair and makeup person that were the same person, which was my ideal, which I got, yay. And I did my trial the day of the engagement shoot so that I could have hair and makeup done for the engagement photos. I think that's definitely a big, good life hack to do. I recommend that for people.
Yeah.
But if I could go back in time, I would have tried to maybe move up those things like by like a month or something, just because like with how I had travel, I was kind of like I just kind of got caught up in like a sloppy situation.
Sure.
And then to backtrack again to the save the dates, a big mistake I made, which I kind of knew was a mistake when I was making it, but I thought I wouldn't be affected by it. I'd heard from other people that shit gets lost in the mail, but I thought like, why would it get lost in the mail? So we sent save the dates, but like not everyone got the save the date. Now, granted, everyone we hit up, we had all mentioned to them, like, by the way, here is the date.
Yeah.
But the recommendation I give people going forward is to send your save the dates and then like 2 weeks later, send a digital version saying, hey, we mailed our save the dates. Here's a digital one in case you didn't get it in
Maybe
the mail.
not even 1 week.
One week, yeah, it's fine. The reason I say
Sometime.
2 is because if you really care, like our save the date was very generic. It just said the date, like it was not fancy by any means. But if you're someone that may put more effort into your save the date, like if we had like a nice photo for it, honestly, like I would want people to get the physical one first,
Sure.
if I could. But like when I sent out the wedding invites, I sent the digital and the wedding invites at the same time because I was so like I felt so delayed because it was like several weeks to maybe even a month after what I wanted to do.
Sure.
So I was like, F it. It'd be cool to get this bespoke set of photos of us, but like, I'm just going to say, I need people to know this now and start RSVPing now.
Yeah.
So those are honestly my only big like regrets because I think that's like stress that I could have mitigated for myself if I had just planned it out differently. But like at the time I didn't really realize that like that would matter, I guess. So like that would be one of my tips going forward. But yeah, we don't need to go in a specific order, but just kind of freestyling things from like the planning process. What were points of stress for you? What are things you kind of wish you did differently?
I mean, there wasn't too much stress, I found. Like outside of I didn't carry stress. Let me put it like that. Like it was very much if I'm stressed for, a day while we're figuring things out or doing things or whatever, or like even a couple hours to like a segment of a day kind of thing while doing stuff. And then it's done and it's out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. It's like, all right, cool. Like once we locked in the venue, I didn't stress about the venue anymore. You know what I mean? Like I didn't stress about the venue, didn't stress about the cake. I didn't stress about, any of that stuff. Cause it was done. It was on paper. It was filled out. Same for the DJ, right? When you came to me with the DJ options and we chose and we reached out and we signed whatever contracts and stuff like that. It's like, cool, DJ's done. We'll have a DJ that day. I was never stressed about the quality of these people.
Sure, yeah.
Because it was like, all right, well, they're either going to be good or they're going to be bad. And we chose someone who we think is going to be good. So I'm not going to stress about them being bad, if that makes any sense.
Right.
It's kind of like, I was like, why did I choose them?
Yeah.
So the DJ work, like of giving them the playlist and stuff like that we want and everything like that was like, oh, that's less than ideal. I'm not going to say it was stressful, but it was like, it was work. I think big stressor after that then was more like the culmination of everything in that last week, right? Because the last week is really where
you were doing a lot.
The last week is really where we sort of
I had done
finalize
a lot of
photo
my
stuff.
work before.
yeah.
Where like my stress was like when I was in that Canva, because fucking Zola doesn't do digital versions of invites. So when I was in Canva trying to recreate a thing I got off of Zola and line and shit, I was like, I was working. I put in a design shift that day.
Yeah.
But then once that was done, obviously, like, yeah, it's already out or whatever. But
yep.
Yeah, you like made a lot of stuff for the wedding.
Yeah.
And you also kind of were like, which I should have known that you have this tendency to do, and maybe I should have stopped you, but also I was like, shit's looking good. Like, let's let him cook. I don't know. But you're a big, like, you will like pick at something when it comes to like a project that you get involved in that you're like excited about because you want to make it as good as it can be. So you'll start like just doing stuff. I mean, even if you're watching the video version of this, you may have noticed we have like some Silksong stuff on the wall.
Yeah.
Isaiah made these things. The yarn I just bought off Amazon.
I did not design them.
Yeah, you did not design them, but like this is a 3D printed from like someone else's design. But also like you like glued pieces together. You're like you get into things.
Yeah.
So when you get into things, you get like very committed. Like I'll just be like, whatever, good enough's good enough or whatever. But like, yeah, you were like, I guess. Well, what were you doing? Because half the time I was like, I just kind of threw my head out. I said, oh, he's at it again. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of like within the last like week and a half or something like that, maybe 2 weeks, is where we finalized our idea for the photos, like where we're not going to do the traditional photo booth. We were going to do these like Instaprint kind of like Polaroid-esque kind of cameras, have a couple of those out that like guests could take and, you know, walk around with, take photos, do whatever. We had the idea of like making the Dropbox for them, like a Dropbox, like a sort of physical box for people to leave photos for us, as well as like the photos could double as like souvenirs for the guests to take home if they found something that they really liked. Making little stands for those photos, 3D printing a bunch of those, finding the colors that kind of matched our wedding colors, ordering that filament to then 3D print the holders. Found some, really lucked out and found some like Game Boy kind of like photo holders that were really cool. It was a lot of like finding things that could work, quickly trying to test and iterate to see like prove out like, oh yeah, no, this would work. You know, going to Best Buy, getting a camera, seeing that the camera was fine, and then ordering a whole bunch of more cameras and film and everything. And then like there was a lot of like last minute, not trial and error, but just like experimentation and verification, and then doubling down on ideas that had me busy.
I had a lot of fun. Yeah, and I kind of just ran like occasional assistant to these ideas. Like
Sure.
I was most involved in the selecting of the camera, where we bought, which maybe we'll do content on this at some point or like a TikTok or something, because honestly it's really valuable. We bought a Polaroid camera, a Fujifilm Insta Minimax, and a Fujifilm SQ40, and then tested all of that and a bunch of film and some batteries and stuff. Tested those. So we'd looked up YouTube videos about like with this instant camera idea that Isaiah had, and then like we like called it what am I blaming on? Jade. Yeah, we called Jade and said like, hey, like here's the idea, because like I'm always team. No offense to everybody listening, I'm always team people are dumb and will mess things up. One, we've all been that person who's dumb and messed things up. And two, I used to have an education and a teaching background. And what you learn is that you will never make a perfect direction set. And you also have to learn how to read a direction set and anticipate what the confusion will be, and all these other things. So I'm always like, oh, I don't know about this. Yeah, I'm kind of a skeptic. So we like called her and asked about like, hey, how do you think this will be too complicated? How many of these things do you think we need? So once we like landed on that, picked the cameras, that whatever, then we like brought them home and we tested situations that like would arise at the wedding, like taking a photo outdoors. What if someone, they're technically supposed to be like, you know, kept in a dark space as they develop or whatever. Like, okay, put it face down, put it face up. How does that change the picture quality? Okay, turn the lights off. Have a drink in your hand. Take a selfie in selfie mode. Take a selfie not in selfie mode. Like, it's just different stuff like that to see like which one we want to pick, which I found really fun. But it was like, that was like a whole evening of our time, you know, and energy. So I think beyond like stress too, it's just like time and mental space. Like I agree with you with the like the venue, like once the venue is locked, like whatever, once this is locked, whatever. The thing that would sometimes stress me out is like the lingering questions or like lingering loose ends that like we might get pestered on, which you took the brunt of that, which like shout to you for doing that. Cause like I don't want to be asked about the like the linen material. Like I don't know, like, and it's just like I don't know, like just make the wedding happen. You know what I mean? It's like there's like little stuff like that would be kind of like annoying to me or whatever. Or just like, I don't know, there were a lot of like little things to kind of keep track of, which I did keep track of everything on, I made a Notion for our wedding where I tracked like our progress. And yeah, like March onward, we just have like stuff, like little stuff, you know? But yeah, and you also we like had a wedding crossword. That was like part of our like non-traditional, or like, semi-non-traditional ideas, because people have done these at weddings before. It's where we got a lot of the ideas from. And those people got the idea from another wedding. So it's but like making the crossword, like we co-developed the questions. And then you like designed it. You like laid it out. You like went to Staples and like got them printed and stuff like that. And like while you were doing all that, I was playing for Super Mario, which was its own work, but it had nothing to do with the wedding. But in my mind, it was just as important. And like little things like table numbers and stuff. But like I don't know, it was a lot of
so many Amazon orders. That last week was like Amazon order after Amazon order after Amazon order of like, what are we forgetting? All right, I'm going to throw this in the cart. At the end of the day, I'm just going to hit buy. We did that like 3-4 days in a row of just like, we'll get stuff, check the quality. Oh, it doesn't work out. Let's return it. Order a different kind. Try it again.
I mean, I'm trying to look past the random crap we got in life. But like a thing to hold the rings, like that holds all 3 of the rings. That was something. Like, stickers for the meal the name placards,
the card box for people to drop cards off. The tablecloths. We
need like a drape for the what is it called? The
ceremony arc.
Like that wasn't provided by the florist. So we had to get that. We had to get like columns, and then we were like trying to see how to make them not look like shit. And it turns out the solution is just to put a sheet over it, which makes so much more sense than what we were trying to do. Glow sticks, like. Table card holders, photo frames, because like these are just things where it's like I think also when you don't have a vision, sometimes you can pay for someone to come up with a vision, but like you can only do that so much. So it's like, what does a welcome table look like? It's like, oh shit, I guess we gotta like, I don't know, fucking buy a frame and we'll print out. We'll print out an engagement photo and put it in there, and that's also the engagement photos were so clutch. I'm so glad we did that. Get a vase for when your bouquet sitting at the table, like. Little stuff like that. That's honestly like pretty much everything we ordered, but it was all like mentally over the course of like a bunch of time. I guess like, do you have advice? What's something you like learned from this process where you're like, I wouldn't say if you can go back and do it again, but I guess if you go back and do it again, right? Not do it, or like someone's asking for, what's something you wish you knew? Like I had mine with the I think bump up if you want engagement photos or just like. Well, in general, you need nice photos for like this kind of thing. I found it beneficial to have that. So I'd recommend people doing the engagement shoot, and I recommend doing that literally as early as humanly possible. Send out a digital copy of both your save the date and your invite. And that's honestly like probably my biggest regret and the only like big thing I would change. But like, do you have anything on your end that you would adjust or recommend to people?
I mean, I think biggest thing for me was like giving yourself time for those like last minute pivots, and by last minute I mean like 2 to 3 weeks out. Like having 2 to 3 weeks out, start trying to make sure you have everything, so that for the things you don't have, which maybe you do have everything. Maybe you're on top of it. Maybe you're better than us. But for anything you don't have that you need to get, you still have enough time to like order, buy, find, track down whatever it is you still need, without like putting things into jeopardy. Like if you need to do some Amazon orders, if you need to run around from store to store, find boutiques, do whatever, like that 2 to 3 weeks I found was enough time to do whatever we needed. So that's my advice. Have 2 to 3 weeks out, plan to be done, so that anything that's not done, you have enough time still to get over the finish line.
Yeah. And I would also say, which people recommended this to us, which is like part why we did it, definitely get the day of coordinator. Like,
yeah, the day of coordinator was really nice. Very, very handy, great to have, useful. If
you're having a wedding like ours, obviously if you're having a smaller wedding, maybe you're going for like, bro, bottom line gonna be as thin as it can be, but yeah, I found that to be like super helpful.
Yeah. And obviously if you can, try to save early, save extra.
Save way more than you think you need. Even I think if your wedding is small, because something that shocked me, I don't know if you had any like surprises for yourself. Like I was shocked at how much I cared about things that I never thought I would care about. Because I think we're both pretty low key. And again, we didn't have dream visions of like what our wedding would be, like what the color, figure out the colors also earlier if you can. We had such a hard time figuring out what those colors were going to be.
Well, I think if we had a wedding party, I think we would have.
Yes, you would, because you would have had to.
Yeah.
But when you don't, like, you end up like we dragged on that for a long time,
Yeah.
and then it was like, well, what are we going to do for like? I guess we have to pick it because of the florals and other stuff. So that was a little bit annoying. But yeah, I cared a lot more about stuff than I thought I would. I think because you end up spending money in some places where you're like, well, now I just want to like kind of go crazy. So an example of that is like my wedding dress. Like I spent more on my wedding dress than I like kind of initially wanted to, but I was like generally okay with what I spent. But then like alterations were like another several $100s. Why? I don't really know. They only took it up a little bit. Like whatever. It was expensive. Sure. Which also I will say, if you're not going to shop around for things, you will generally spend more money. Because I probably could have gone and looked for like a cheaper tailor maybe. But also I'm like, it's kind of a rolling thing. I'm like, well, I spent so much on the dress. I'm not going to cheap on the tailor. So then also like stuff like the veil. Like I spent a good amount of money on the veil, which was like a couple $100 also. A lot of people just get a veil off Amazon, $30-$20, and they look totally fine. Yeah. But for me, I was like, well, once I'm like, God, you know, I spent so much on the dress. I'm gonna do. And the same for the shoes. I was like, I don't really care about my shoes. I'm not a big heel person. I'm just gonna get some white shoes. And then I was like, well, I didn't say I didn't care at all. So I think you have to be like, be prepared for that to happen to you, because I didn't think it would happen to me. It's like true life. It happened to me. Same for stuff like, generally I didn't thought I would care about like even like the invites and stuff. But it's like, well, you like end up wanting stuff to look nice. Like you just end up caring about stuff that like you wouldn't think that you wouldn't care about, because it's like, I don't know, like you just get very invested in the day a little bit. Even stuff like we paid a little bit extra for like the draping on the ceiling, which we did get to use some of our surplus from we had like 100 people minimum or whatever. So like it wasn't insanely expensive, but like that was something where if you would have asked me before, like, hey, would you pay extra for ceiling draping? I'd be like, no, I wouldn't fucking pay extra for ceiling draping. That's a waste of money. But honestly, like the lead up, it didn't feel like a waste. And even after the fact, it didn't feel like a waste. I think it looked great. I was totally worth it. I was cool. But like, not everyone is like this, but be open to being surprised at like what you might want to invest in. Things like I bought a necklace for our wedding, because I always wear a necklace now. And I didn't want to not wear one at our wedding, but I didn't want to wear my like casual one because it wouldn't look right. Like, so little things like that can really add up. And yeah, so like that was a little bit of a surprise to me on it, but yeah.
I'm almost going to go against that in that I agree with what you're saying.
Really, you and your new watch are going to go against?
I'm going to agree with what you said.
Okay.
But I found that for me, I bake that in to where, like, you know, without going into like the financials of everything, right? I think I went into getting married, like going from us just dating to us being married. I had a budget in mind, and I think I went over that budget, but I think in the grand scheme of things, only by like $3,000 to $4,000, which for a wedding is not crazy. So like I think you can definitely be prepared to, I guess I'm more doubling down on what you said, where it's like, oh, like prepare beforehand of all these things that you don't know might come up, or like you might not know that you'll care about in the moment. Like if you can, try to bake that into whatever budget you guys build, whatever you save, however you approach situations, and find, you know, vendors and check pricing and do all that jazz. Like it really helped keep within, not within budget, but keep not grossly over budget.
I think also there's just like a lot that, another reason that I would recommend over budgeting, even though like technically for a budget, always supposed to stay within budget, is there's things that you also just don't know you have to pay for. Like you just don't think about it. So like an example is, I didn't think about the fact that we have to pay for our marriage license. Again, that's not a lot of money. It's like $50, $100, but that's something right there. You know, something like even that cheap, I mean, it's a plastic pillar off Amazon, but like I didn't think that we'd have to pay for any wedding decor other than paying for it to be done. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, someone has to buy that. If you're gonna have a photo frame, you have to buy that. If you're gonna like do this, you have to buy that. I'm trying to think of other stuff. I have a whole thing on Notion, so I'm just scanning that to see if there's other little things that like I wasn't considering. But yeah, just like stuff like that, or you know, something that we did. We always said we wanted like magnetic save the dates, but when I saw how much they cost, which is like they're just double, which is still not a lot of money, but like that I wasn't expecting. It's like, I mean, even the prices that we spent on like the invitations and the save dates in general was like a little more than like I think you would think.
Yeah.
It's like maybe like closer to like $100, which again is not a lot, but it's like every like cost for this wedding is going to be like $100 to hundreds to like low thousands of dollars. So like it does really start to like add up for things. Yeah, just like little stuff here and there. I don't know. Or like, you know, again, like the welcome party, we weren't always like set on having that, but like we ended up having that, which again, I think was great to have. But yeah, just a lot. If you have questions and things, let me know.
For parking for folks for the day of ceremony. And like, that wasn't something we thought of beforehand, but like, yeah.
Well, that was something we thought, we're like, oh, we're just not going to pay that. It's an easy way to save money. But then it's like, well, everyone's spending so much like coming here. Like, yeah. And then I guess like the last thing I want to say on the wedding is just like, I would recommend you think about why you want to do it and cater the wedding to that. That sounds like common sense. But like, I think there are people where they're very just the couple oriented and they're like, we want to make it about like us and our love and like have this really intimate thing. And like, that's cool. Do that and like plan around that. If that's like really your vibe, like maybe then it doesn't make sense to have like a traditional wedding where people fly in to whatever, right? We wanted a traditional wedding in large part because we wanted to bring a bunch of people from our lives together. And to that end, we leaned into stuff like the welcome party and the Minimoon, which we'll talk about next, of going to like Universal and Disney. And while going to Disneyland is really expensive, and we spent like a lot of money on like the tickets and like the hotel, like I think that was totally worth it because it aligned with the value of what we wanted, which was to spend time with people. And like that was great. And it like totally pairs with the wedding where it feels like all one big experience. And yay, that was cool. You know, again, like lean into stuff where it makes sense for you and like what you want. Yeah. So like, I think that was like super valuable. And like in general, like everything we paid for our wedding, I felt like I got what I wanted out of it. So yeah, it was a good time overall. Would recommend. I wish I could say, to be honest, guys, this is a waste of money because even though I think a lot of people would still look at it and say, I would never pay that much for a party. I gotta be honest with you. I loved our wedding. Don't have any beef with it.
People have, since the wedding, people have been like randomly messaging me every so often, like, hey, I just wanted to say it was a fantastic wedding. Like you guys had such a great time.
People had so much fun, which
really
was
glad
like crazy.
We can make it, you know, blah blah blah. So yeah.
Also being on the other side of things, because we've attended a lot of weddings. Wow, we gotta step up like our card to people game because like reading like and not everyone's gonna be like us, and I'm not saying that's like a good or bad thing. If you're just fucking mass opening stuff and it's whatever, like do you? But like the gifts afterwards, obviously we had digital ones on Zola, and like people send us stuff and people send us money for our honeymoon, which we did get funded. So we'll go to Japan next year, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure we'll talk about that on the show. But just coming back from like the Minimoon and sitting down with you and like reading the cards back and forth, trying to guess who wrote them, like covering up the name, okay, what do you think they sent? Oh, they sent this, like whatever. Like that was like so fun. And then some people gave us some physical gifts, and like the physical gifts we got, we like really lucked out because like I think we've all heard their stories of like, you know, my uncle really wanted to give me like a blender, and like I don't need a blender, but he gave me a blender, and like we didn't have like any of that. We had like the physical gifts people gave us were like insanely thoughtful and were like crazy. Like so, I don't know. I was very like moved by the gifts we got, which makes me realize that like, damn, I need to be like dropping these like really bespoke, cool cards to people's things more. But also to that end, like I don't know, that stuff is like. I think sometimes like when you go to a wedding, you're like, I don't know, I guess I'll give them this. Like, who cares?
Sure.
Like, it does really like one add up, and two, like you really feel it on the other end as like, at least we did. I'm sure some people like it's not that deep, but it really felt like we had like a marriage Christmas together that, in a way that was like really, really fun. And like, we even felt that with like the stuff that, you know, we knew about of like, I'm making Dale bought us, you know, a napkin ring or something that wasn't on there, but like whatever. But like getting that shipped and being like, hey, it's the napkin ring from Dale. Being like, yeah, hell yeah. And it really hits like super hard. And maybe that's just like us and our vibe. Other people maybe just don't give a fuck as much about it. But like, it's weird being like the, I'll just use this example because I know who offhand who gave it to, like the coffee thing that like Leo got us that was on our registry. It was like, it's like, yeah, like it was weird making coffee and like thinking of Leo when I made it. But it's like, it like infused a weird level of sentimental value to like all these everyday items. So I also think like definitely like don't sleep on putting some physical items on like your registry, because I think if you dig deep and think about things you need, it does hit like using them and having them in a way that like you wouldn't expect, because it's like, I don't live together for like 5 years, like who gives a fuck about the forks? But I'm like, no, these are like the measuring cups from our wedding. Our friend gave us these. They love us. Like anyway, cool. Minimoon stuff. We went to Universal. We'll be brief on that one so we can spend more time talking about Disney. No shade to Universal. Universal, another fun time. We went with your nephew, which was honestly, that made it like twice as fun as it would have been, because he's 10 and he's never been, and he's also newer to riding coasters. So this was the classic like, damn man, like hanging out with a kid like really does hit, because like you do have that cheesy like experiencing it through them in a way that was like, this was so much fun. So like that was honestly like the thing that really hit for me at Universal. Us riding the Mummy, and at the end, like, which I don't know when he grows up and hears this and is like slightly embarrassed by it, but he was like covering his face at the end of the ride. And I was like, oh my God, like, did we traumatize this kid? But also I'm still me. So I was laughing my ass off quietly to myself. Obviously we checked in with him and he was fine. He had fun. We're like, was it too scary, not fun, or scary fun? He's like, no, it was scary fun. Like, it was just like, it was just kind of a lot. And then also like I think with like how like culture shifted of like learning more about things before you go to them. Like, again, also I've been to Universal before, like whatever, I don't know. Like riding the Mummy with someone who doesn't know it goes backwards. It's a goated.
Honestly, which was weird because I totally forgot.
Yeah. So that was just like really fun. So I had a good time for that. We really did just go, you know, as a fun thing to do with him and like his family and our, you know, extended family. Cause we've gone a couple times. And at this point, Universal's almost like, I'm from Chicago. I always say that I save deep dish for when people come into town. That's kind of what Universal is for me at this point, for the most part. It's like, hey, someone will come by where we have to go, and again, it's a fun place, but like that's kind of where it's been. So my only new share is the Toadstool Cafe, which we'll talk about next. But what are some of your top level Universal vibes off of I think second trip for you?
Yeah, second trip for me. Honestly, the biggest thing is that the what's Fast Pass? I forget what it's called. Lightning
It's like I think it is just called a
Disney.
Fast Pass.
Yeah, so Fast Pass is still a go-to thing to get. It's definitely helpful. It helped us get in and out of rides so much quicker than if we had to wait in lines. Even if you can only use it for like once a day for each ride or whatever, they're still worth it.
We got out of the park at like by like 5 or 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
because we had just ridden everything we wanted to ride.
Yeah. Again, fun, kind of getting to see it through a younger kid's eyes, right? You know, when we were, again, you mentioned Mummy, we went to the Jurassic Park ride, which was really fun, and like it was fun in a new way being with him and everything like that. Knowing what was coming, that I did remember, like, oh, like how it ends and like how it, you know, how the ride works and everything, and just like seeing him kind of like experience everything was really fun. Even just walking around, like, you know, again, you get to Mario World, seeing him just really excited to hit this little Mario band on things that you can't even hit.
He's also just like so funny. Like, I know everyone, like, I don't know, thinks their family is the best in a way or whatever, but like he's the perfect blend of like, he is obviously still a kid, so he has like childlike things like the wanting to tap the band on everything, but he's also like kind of an old soul. So he's like, I was like, oh, he seems excited to have the band. I'm like, do you want to wait in line for like the band experience? Because you can like do little mini games with the band. He's like, nah, I just want to go to Jurassic Park. And it's like, that's like so valid, because it's not that Nintendo World's not that interesting in LA. Yeah. What did you think of the Toadstool Cafe?
I thought it was good. I thought it was the line to get in. The way the line system works for the Toadstool Cafe is crazy. Like, one, you have to reserve a slot, but you're reserving a slot to get in line. You still then have to wait like an hour in line before, like, I think between getting in line and eating was like an hour and a half. Like, it was something crazy. It was definitely more than an hour, maybe not as far as an hour and a half, but it was up there. It was like, oh, if you're hungry, if you think you'll be hungry at 1, set your reservation for 12.
Yeah.
If not 11:30. Yeah. Like, you need to be ahead of the game. All that said, once you get inside, I thought the decor and everything was really great.
The decor is very fun.
Super fun. It's got kind of like a rainforest cafe kind of vibe to it, where like every, I don't know, 20 minutes, whatever time loop they have it on, there's like a Bowser attack kind of thing, and like, you know, all the screens in there change, and you know, you get different music and everything like that. The chairs were extremely heavy. It's like, I think the biggest like shared takeaway that everyone agreed on is like, yo, these toads are like beefy people, because they can move these chairs presumably with ease, and those chairs were huge and heavy. And then the food itself was actually, it was pretty solid. It's definitely the best food I had at Universal. I think before we went to like the Jurassic Park cafe.
The Jurassic Park cafe is really bad, but like, cancellation aside, the food that you can get at the Wizarding World is quite good.
That's true.
Also,
that's true. Is that food better than Toastu Cafe?
I think it was. It was a random like fake pub that we ate at. So I don't know the name. Sorry, I can't share.
It's
that
comparable.
With people.
It's comparable. Like,
I think it was better, but maybe I was hungrier. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was like,
it's also different food.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's like way different. It was
like a burger and fries.
It was like potatoes and whatever. Yeah, I got a pasta at the Toastu Cafe. I got
Luigi's
Yoshi's
Alfredo.
No, it was Yoshi's.
Yoshi?
Yoshi's like fettuccine or some shit. But like, you don't really be cooking like that. If I'm being honest. But it was good enough, because
I thought the burger was good.
Yeah, I just didn't want it to be bad, and it was not bad. And the drink was cute. It was like kind of like a lemonade-y, almost like boba-esque thing. So yeah, though I will say, I was like, oh yeah, I'd eat here again. And now that time has passed, I think I would eat there again, especially with someone who hasn't gone, where it's like, oh, it'll be a fun thing we can do together. And sometimes at like a theme park, it's just nice to have designated time to sit. So it's like, okay, and it's like a nice space and stuff. But I will say, then that next day, went over to Disney.
I mean, yeah, but that's
and I said, what the fuck's this fuck-ass Toastu Cafe?
That's true, but unfair.
We also started at like the highest high that you could, because it was, I always mix up the two parks that are in LA.
We went to Disneyland.
First, right?
Yes.
So we went to Disneyland first. That's where Star Wars is. Mm-hmm. Walking into that Star Wars area, I was like, holy shit, this is literally, I'm in fucking Star Wars, bitch.
Yeah.
And then we rode two rides. One was Rise of the Resistance. The other one, I forget the name of.
The Millennium Falcon.
Yes, the Millennium Falcon.
Smuggler's Rush or whatever.
Yeah, so that was, the Smuggler's Rush was the first one we did. Mm-hmm. Super fun. And it was also like, and look, it's an objective fact that Disney is better than Universal in terms of like a park. We could argue like price and like systems, but like generally like no one would say that Disney is like better than Universal. Like no one would say that. Like we can agree on that. And yet it was like, holy shit. Like, because Universal has a lot of rides that are screen oriented and they have mixed success in that. Like I think Mario Kart's a pretty solid like AR screen experience, especially like that Rainbow Road part is really fun. Everyone loves that, blah, blah. But then like going to like Smuggler's Rush or Run or whatever the fuck it's called, and that being a screen ride and it being like the highest fidelity, like you don't need goggles or any bullshit like screen ride. And I was like, that was so much fun. And then going from that to being like, oh, now we got to do, God, what is, I keep forgetting the name of it.
The one, Rise of the Resistance?
Rise of the Resistance, which we really lucked out on. It was pouring rain that day that we came through. And you and I particularly lucked out because like we were meeting up with Sarah and Haley and company there, and they were already there. And we were like, we took a while because we were like, getting out of the hotel and blah, blah. And we're privileged because we were on our like Minimoon honeymoon. So obviously my friends are always going to be like chill, but ain't no one going to clock us for being late because we just got married, so it's like, whatever. So we pull up and they're all like ponchoed out, had been in the rain for hours. They said they rode a flooded Small World, and we got through and we were like, ooh, a little drizzle. And then literally the sun came out and we like walked in. So like the rain had just stopped, but because of the rain, like it was more dead in the park. So we got onto Rise of the Resistance like basically instantly. Yeah. Because it's notoriously one of the rides that has a like separate lightning lane thing you'd have to buy. It's a very popular ride, so it takes forever. We got to just walk onto that thing. Yeah. That was super fun. Yeah. You're walking past the fucking, what are they called? Like the
AT-ATs?
The AT-ATs. And they look incredible. Yeah. You're seeing like fucking Kylo Ren and shit. Everything looks so real.
It's almost like a ride to get to the ride. Also, it's like one of those kind of like the on-ramp to get to the actual ride is itself themed and orchestrated and fun and entertaining. Like there's this like one section, which honestly, I could have went home after that and I was like, that this would have been a good time. Is like you get on this ship, you do this thing, and then you land and you get off, and you like you enter a room that's just like full of stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the fucking most incredible shit I've ever seen at a theme park right here. Like, it was so basic. It's so simple, but just like the theatrics of it was so incredible.
Also, like in general,
like,
the animatronics fantastic. And like the projection work in Disney is like insane.
Yeah.
Like
stupid.
The projection of fucking Rey was like, oh, she's fucking here for real. Yeah. Like it's crazy. Like that's her. So yeah, that was incredible. The ride was really fun. Not gonna get into like crazy details. There's some fun surprises on that ride that I thought were really cool. But it just like looked great and had like a tiny like sprinkle of thrill, because I do lean more on thrill when it comes to rides. But like if the spectacle is good enough, like I can be into it. And I think it had a nice blend of both for Rise of the Resistance and even the other one as well, the Smuggler's Run. Then we ate at like, I think the name of the restaurant is like something like cargo container
cargo
shipping
dock
holds
number
or
7
something.
or something like that.
And the food was
the food was
fucking
like
good.
Not even scoped to just being in a theme park. The food was just good.
It was like I would eat there.
Out of a theme
I would
park.
eat there in LA proper. Like it was good.
Yeah.
This is also where we discovered the hack of the 3 entrees, where Isaiah has an entree, I have an entree, and we have a third entree that's like a shared entree. I mean, we all tasted each other's food too, but like, you know, it was like whatever. The thing we shared was like the fried, it's like fried dumplings or something. I don't know what it was. Fried bao. Yeah, fried bao. And then I had like noodles with like bok choy or something, and then you had like something else. I forgot what you ate.
Like a chicken fried steak kind of thing.
And then we also had like the drinks, which I forgot what they were made out of, but everything had a cute name except for the bao. They were like, bitch is just a fried bao.
Yeah.
They didn't say like, you know, Boba Fett's fried bao. They just said it's a fried bao, which I thought was really funny. It was the only thing on the menu that didn't have a fun name.
Yeah.
Everything else was like fucking Vader's tears or something. I don't know, but like, you know, Kylo Ren's, you know, back sweat or something. But like this is just fried chicken bao. But it was so good. And when I ate that, I said, I'm never fucking going back to that Tozo Cafe ever. What are you talking about, bitch?
It was very unfortunate.
I was shook to my core. I said, how much money do they want? How do I direct deposit to Disney themselves? I was blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away. I will say that was actually probably the height of the entire like Disney experience for me, like that Star Wars area and like the ride and the food. Like that whole combo was like, it didn't get higher than that for me. But everything else was very lovely as well.
I think that was the high for that day, like of that park for sure.
Yeah.
Of the entire like because the next day we came back and we did California Adventures, which is like the other side, the other park. And that also had like I think equal highs to equal but separate.
Yeah.
Equal but different highs. Separate highs that were equally high as the Star Wars area.
From a sociological standpoint, definitely.
Yeah. Like the Dash ride, the Incredicoaster.
Yeah, Incredicoaster super fun.
That hit. The Mickey and Minnie's Road Time Adventure.
Which I think was the first day actually, because Sarah was there, wasn't she?
No.
Really?
Nothing can stop us.
I thought Sarah was there for that. Because I knew she was only there the first day. What does it matter?
Is it?
I'll Google it. You can keep talking. I'll look up the Runaway.
Either way, it's like another like trackless coaster, or not trackless coaster, but trackless ride. Maybe it was. Now that you're mentioning
I'll look it up.
You know, I think it was because we rode the train back.
It was Disneyland.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
So
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which is like literally hell for like having an R list. We're like, whoa.
Yeah. All right, so then Incredicoaster was great. Seeing Avengers Campus was cool, especially when we got there. There was like one thing I really wanted to see, which was like the animatronic,
it's like half animatronic, half person.
Yeah,
like the
Spider-Man show thing where you see him like flip across the buildings and come down and do all this stuff. And it was like as we got there, as we're walking past the Avengers Campus, they were at the part of that whole like show where like they swing the Spider-Man around, and I was like, that's what I wanted to see. Great, I don't have to wait around for another hour and a half and miss time doing other rides and stuff like that. That was great. We ate at the Pym picnic or whatever it was.
Pym's Lab or something.
Yeah, Pym's Lab Cafe, which admittedly that food was not as good as the
Pym Test Kitchen.
Yeah, there we go. That food was not as good as the Star Wars Doc 7, whatever, but it was still good and still probably better than Universal's.
Oh, definitely.
Food.
Specifically, I really liked the I got whatever their vodka drink is. It's like they have an alcoholic drink that I got there, and that was very good. I also think it's both a pro and a con, right? Obviously, if you want to get like buzzed, it's a con. But I would say I don't want to really get buzzed at the theme park, to be honest, unless I'm doing the around the world Disney thing, and that's a different thing. That's in Disney Florida or whatever. But I like that it's like wasn't too boozy because I'm like, because honestly the only reason I got that drink is because it was the most fun drink on the menu, and I wanted a fun drink that it wasn't for the alcohol, but so I like that it wasn't too boozy. I liked the there was a pasta that was like kind of spicy that was like our third entree. I thought that pasta that was pretty good. And I will say in general the vegan vegetarian stuff was like way better and way more like the can't believe it's not meat actually was like really good kind of thing. It's like called like whatever it's called,
Impossible meat.
Impossible. We can't believe it's not meat. Exactly. Impossible burger. I got the thing that was like a chicken sandwich, but the chicken was big and the sandwich was bad. Like you don't need to get that. Like it was kind of mid.
Sure.
And then whatever Michael got, I know he said was also a little bit mid, but we got the same thing. So that's why. Yeah. So we were like, we had like the worst entree, but it wasn't bad. It just wasn't like that. It wasn't as good as some of the stuff that you and like Haley got or whatever, which is like the nachos. But yeah, that was cool. We like so many good like little food and snacks throughout Disney. Like when we went to California Adventure the next day, and we got that Dole Whip flight.
Yeah, that was really good.
Do you believe me now that I say the Dole Whip at Disney hits different?
I still think it hits just as good. You're fucking
crazy.
It's good. Dole Whip is good.
It is so much better than it is anywhere else.
It was not meaningfully, tastefully better. It was good because it's Dole Whip.
You're crazy.
Great because it was Disney Dole Whip.
You're crazy. I also think it was kind of like more on the mid-level, but the Mexican food at like the Coco area, it was like good enough. It was kind of like, it tasted like when you go to a Mexican restaurant that's like a little too decorated in a specific way.
Sure.
I think if you know, where it's like, there's restaurants where it's like, this is a Mexican restaurant and it feels like Mexicans just decorated it versus a Mexican restaurant that feels like it's decorated to be a Mexican restaurant. It tasted more like it's decorated to be a Mexican restaurant, but it was not bad by any means. It was like, yes, exactly. But like, you know what I mean?
What it was.
It wasn't exactly giving like, oh, I'm sitting down on a ripped chair kind of Mexican food. You know what I mean? Like, there's like it's like real Mexican when it's like you walk in and there's like religious figurines places. You know what I mean? Like you gotta like, you know what I mean? Like if you know, you know. So that was kind of whatever, but all the food was still like generally good. It's just, I think the best meal was that Star Wars meal at the beginning, but I liked all the little meals and treats. It was just such a good, like it like was such a like, it's funny because I think it pairs great with a wedding actually, where it's like a wedding, you're kind of like swept up. It's like a big event. Disney feels like it like really sweeps you off your feet. Like the experience of it, the vibes, like something about it just was like, it really does feel like Vegas for families.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Of where I'm in Vegas, I'm like, I'm having drinks, I'm walking around, capitalism's flowing.
Yeah.
There's a steak that I'm eating.
You're not too concerned with how much you're swiping. It's in the back of your mind.
Yeah, like it's just like a good time. And like the rides are really fun. We did the Cars ride and the Cars ride was great. Cars ride still hits. Though I'm paying now the extra for the Lightning Lane. I ain't waiting in that. I'm not waiting again.
That's fair. It was a long wait.
Yeah, we did it.
We lucked out for the
We waited with the normies and it was exhausting.
We paid for it in the Cars ride.
Other things to shout out. I really liked the on day 2, which was California Adventure. They have like a draw the characters.
Yeah,
thing.
That was really cool.
Super fun, incredibly relaxing, and also just a great excuse to get off your feet. Like I was
sat down for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
It's a little dramatic to give that a 10 out of 10, but for me, it's like a great side dish to the experience. Like it pairs really well with like the main experience of riding rides. But it's a good downtime. Yeah. We did the Groot's Big Drop or whatever. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like Tower of Terror, but it's rebranded Guardians of the Galaxy. Still really fun.
Yeah.
And actually more fun than I remember it being, because I like always remember that ride as, there's a big drop, but I forget how many drops there are, and like they're throwing you up, they're throwing you down.
Well, it's funny. I only ever did the Tower of Terror at Disney World.
Same.
Which does like it was almost partnered with like the what's that show?
Haunted Mansion?
Yeah, but no, it was what's the show that Jordan Peele kind of helped do? It's like the mystical. Oh my god, I'm blanking on it.
It's a show?
It's a show that Jordan Peele is either a part of now or was like rumored to do. It's like the.
I got nothing for you. I'm googling and nothing's coming up. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I can vamp in the meantime on some of the stuff we did.
Horror show. Twilight Zone. It was partnered with the Twilight Zone when I did it in Orlando, where like they kind of take you through like this, like your car goes up and down for a little bit, or maybe it starts off with you just going up to like the floor of the Twilight Zone or whatever, and then like you go off and you're like almost on track to get to like this other part, from what I remember, and then you're on the part where you're going up and down and they're dropping you and everything like that. Whereas this is just like theatrical, and then drop, which is fun and cool and totally awesome. I am very curious. They change it over after a certain time to be like scary. I don't know if this is like forever or just in October or whatever. But I would be very curious to try it during the day where it's like not themed as scarily. Like it's not a horror ride.
Yeah. Right now it's like for Halloween time. It's like meant to be a little bit scarier.
Yeah. I think seeing it outside of that could be pretty cool as well. But yeah.
Other quick shouts, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Way more wet than it needs to be, but it's a great ride, but it's very wet.
Yeah.
Thunder Mountain, super fun. Just kind of hanging out, walking around. I think Toontown as well, like would be a place it'd be fun to spend more time in Toontown. We went there at night just because of like the look of it is fun, even though I think it's obviously more kid oriented because it's Toontown.
How could we forget one of our favorites, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, genuinely had a really fun time with that. Also, like, what's so cool about being at Disney is it really does feel like, and I know it's going to sound like an ad, but like it really does feel like they make magical moments happen, because we went in line for the teacups, and while we were in line, a parade was coming by, and then we rode the lights.
Yeah.
The parade also, when we were riding in the teacups, the parade was also going by, and it really felt like whimsical as fuck. Like I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I think I have very few like critical notes on Disney overall. One thing I'll shout out is you definitely have to, if you're going to be doing like the lightning lane system, you do need to like familiarize yourself with how it works to like really get the most out of it.
Yeah, definitely have someone who's like on it, be on it.
I definitely think too, one of the cons of the lightning lane system is it does make you ping pong around. So you walk an unnecessary amount, because it's like you're going to go from like if A, B, and C and D, if that's like denoting distance, it's like, oh, I have A, but then my next lightning lane is a D, and then I can book the C, and then I book the A area again, and it's like you're kind of really zigzagging a lot, which can be tiring,
a bit much for folks.
And it's not, obviously as like chill as like, again, Universal, you just walk on to stuff. It's like very like you don't have to know anything. Here it's like you need the app, you need to like be locked in a little bit. But I would say once you like familiarize yourself with it, it's really not that deep. Like it's not that crazy of a system, but it is like something that you have to like kind of get to know a little bit. But yeah, it was just like a great time overall. And I think my only other critical note is low key, the coffee tends to be kind of bad at Disney. Like I had a hot coffee a couple times and I'm like, this thing does not taste very good. But in general, I try to lean on specialty drinks anyway. So I think I'll just have to look more for like what's a good like fun iced coffee that I like. Again, I don't have a big sweet tooth for coffee, so that was like a little bit like limiting. But yeah, just like great time. Would love to go. Like it was like, how can I be here all the time? It's like I see the life of a Disney adult and it is bright. But also they making more money than me because I'll look that stuff up.
Totally fair. Yeah.
I said, let's save up, and like if the time comes and we have like a family and they're old enough to understand, sure, maybe then I can see that investment being worth it. Yeah. But like, whoo, it's a lot of money. Yeah. It's a whole lot of money in this motherfucker. Like it's expensive, but
it's good.
Man, it's a fucking
it is the
great time.
Pinnacle. It is the you get what you pay for. Unfortunately, you pay for a lot.
Yeah, you're paying a lot, but oh my God, I was having a time in my life. Yeah, man. Disney Magic, dude. Totally very worth it. Oh, and I guess I know I keep saying like, oh, final shouts, but we got the wedding ears on our friend's recommendation, which was fun. Yeah. And yeah, that was just kind of nice. People would, I recommend wearing them if you got married, as long as you're not like embarrassed by them or whatever.
Thanks to those ears. That was also really great. Always nice to get any kind of bonus and perks.
Got a little bit of clout. People saying congratulations and stuff. It's cute.
Also fun. Yeah.
So yeah, it was just like a fun time, getting a little bit extra attention.
Stop by the Pandora. I know like you.
Oh yeah, I'm not wearing my bracelet right now because I've been cleaning this weekend, so I don't have to keep taking it on and off. But I'm all in on the Pandora train, which is also I think a very millennial woman thing to be into. But I don't give a fuck. I'm having fun, bitch. They have exclusive charms at different spots, so I'm kind of using it as like a travel momentum rolling souvenir. And they have a Pandora at Disney that has a couple exclusives, including some Marvel exclusives, which was fun. So I got like a Spider-Man one. I got one of the castle, and then like one other one. I don't remember the other one is offhand.
Or something like that.
Yes, I don't know. It was something. Because I'm pretty sure I got 3. Maybe I only got 2. I don't remember. Oh, I got the clips just while I was there because I need clips for like the threading parts. Yeah, just like a good time. And then what? I don't know if we'll make time for this because one, it's a good amount of time, a good amount of money, and it does feel a little silly doing stuff that's like you can kind of do that in America. But when Sarah said that Disney Japan was way better than here, I said it's better than here. How is that possible? So I don't know. We're gonna see what we can make happen. Maybe we swap the spa day for a fucking Disney trip. I don't know. They're literally opposite experiences. So we'll see.
One's the most relaxing thing ever, and the other is the most active thing.
Yeah, but that feels crazy to me. But
I'm down to find out.
We'll see. But yeah, it was a great time. I can't wait to go back, but I will have to wait quite a while because it was a lot. But yeah, I mean, shout out to the Minimoon. I know a lot of people were like, it's very like of the now recession indicator vibes that Minimoons are very popular over like honeymoons, but like we spent a lot on that wedding. So they did, and also the time and the energy and the time off from work. Like I don't want to, that even having a wedding and then immediately going to Japan seems like a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But this was like a great in between and like, we kind of fell into this idea because my friends from like the PB Bang girlies are the ones that brought it up, like Kelsey and Sarah and Haley. But this was a great like thing. I know not everyone can like, obviously this is very privileged to like have friends that can take the time and have the money and want to do the thing. But like, this was such a good pairing. Again, I also know some people wouldn't want to do that where they're like, oh no, I want to just be with like my new husband, my new wife, my new partner, whatever. But like, again, for our goals of like, we want to hang out with people. This was like a great follow up of like, joining people in on the fun they're having in LA and the LA area.
Yeah.
So yeah, any final nods to not games before we get on to our poll of the show?
No, I don't think so.
And now let's get into poll of the show. As always, the poll of the show is at gamesandnotgames.com/poll. Last week we asked, what's your main reason that you would or that you do abandon games? And then also a couple questions on how you rate The Matrix across the different films. So starting with the games portion of the poll, Isaiah, what are we looking at from a data perspective? What's the main reason people that listen to this show are abandoning games?
Yeah, two main reasons. One being that the game just isn't that good. People are enjoying it. They drop it because they want to enjoy their time. Second being it loses steam. Or rather a personal gaming hiatus. It loses steam.
Yeah.
The colors are very, very similar. Second most reason is just it loses steam, doesn't hold their interests for the full length of the game, which are kind of almost like two sides of the same coin, you know? Which, I mean, these are all reasons why you would abandon a game. So at some point, there's going to be a negative, presumably. So yeah, kind of not surprised by that, but it is still kind of funky to see.
Yeah. So much of mine is just laziness. So I'm surprised that's not dominating the charts more.
Yeah, we had a little bit of another game pulls you away and you put it down and then it just kind of gets hard to get back into it. So you just never do, you know? It's a little bit of all of that there. We also asked people what was the last game that they abandoned. These are actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
We have Wuchong Fallen Feathers. I don't even know.
That's that like Soulsy game that like came out pretty recently.
It's not, but wait. I know there's Wukong, but this is...
No. This is a different one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like supposed to be like really pretty looking and stuff. Oh. And it's like, I've heard mixed things. Some people were like, you know what? This is actually really good. And some people were like, I mean, it's good, but like, why do I care? You know? So that was kind of the things I've heard from it. So this makes sense to see this on here.
Gotcha.
What else do we got on here?
We got Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I know we have. I haven't even started it.
I started it and then I got lazy and maybe it wasn't that good.
Dragon's Dogma 2, which I think is just a big meaty game. So I don't know if
it's a really meaty game, and also it's very like old school.
Oh, okay.
Like it's kind of like dated.
Okay.
It's like it's giving Skyrim vibes in some ways.
Speaking of Skyrim, Oblivion Remastered is on this list, which honestly fair. I also tried picking that up, and I a couple hours into it, I do not think I'm going to go back to it. It's not even that it's like bad. It's just not as engrossing as I would hope it would be, given that it's just so much later than when it came out, you know? I don't know how well it aged for me. Skin Deep, which I don't think I know what this game is.
Yeah, it's an immersive sim indie game that came out this year.
Skin Deep?
Yeah, add game, because or else you're just getting people skincare about Skin Deep. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I mean, I've heard it's pretty good, but it's a very specific like genre, so I haven't touched it.
And then Blueprints was another write-in.
Yeah, they said I'm not a puzzle person.
Yeah,
which that's
join the club.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, we got How Do You Rate the Matrix for Matrix 1? Average rating 4.8.
Yeah, yep, it's pretty high.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Matrix
Reloaded, average rating 3.2. Okay, yeah, that's
also fair. A little bit lower. Yeah.
Matrix Revolution 2.8. I'm gonna read the next one because then I have something to say. Matrix Resurrection, average rating 3.0. It pains me to see y'all, the listeners, the audience, fall for the trap that so many audiences have. The Matrix 3 is really not that bad, guys. Like,
it's not that good.
The fights on the bridge are really fun. And you're telling me it's better than Matrix 4? Matrix 4 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
That can't be true.
Rating it higher than Matrix 3, I think, is insane. Rating Matrix 4 higher than Matrix 3? Isaiah, are you entering into this jail?
No, I would put it Matrix 4 under Matrix 3. But they're both bad. Like they're fighting for last place. Like it's.
No, I think Matrix 3 gets its ass whooped by Matrix 4 negatively.
I wish it was. I wish the gap was bigger. I don't know what to tell you.
That's crazy. You're crazy for that even being close. Like Matrix 4 is like 3 steps below a lot of things. So,
I would like you to read this. Oh
yeah, the next one.
Yeah.
Isaiah added this other one. I don't know if I was super said yes on this. It was like a month ago. Should I watch Lyle Crocodile with Isaiah? 83% of you say yes.
Yeah.
You know what? How long is that? How long is Lyle?
Tight 90?
Lyle.
Can't be that long.
An hour 47.
That's not too bad. We just watched 2 Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, the good ones. Anyway, yeah, I guess. Isaiah, if you want to watch this, sure.
All right, great. I do.
Okay, fine.
Done.
Anything else you'd like to share? We got, I try and finish every game I start, but sometimes I abandon things because they hit a toxic time in my life. Example, I'll never finish Ghost of Tsushima because I was playing it when I was writing my master's thesis. Now I just associate with a stressful period that has poisoned it for me.
That's fair. Honestly, that's
love those
fair.
kinds of stories.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Tenet and Christopher Nolan overall? Christopher Nolan, shout out to you. You've been making some good shit. Obviously, those Batman movies,
Dark
other
Knight.
movies.
Go to movie.
My Batman and everything else, cool. Or right? Tenet, I didn't like it. And I didn't understand it. So
I liked it, but I didn't understand it.
So that's me and Tenet.
Neither of us understood.
No, I didn't know what was going on. And you know what? Maybe that's because I'm stupid. I don't care. You can say what you want. I didn't get what was going on.
I think it's just a confusing story they tell. Like it's time loopy. And
I don't know what's going on.
This, that, and the third.
The backwards action. I don't know. Seeing The Matrix for the first time in 1999 at a friend's house, knowing absolutely nothing about it ahead of time was incredible. Finding out what the Matrix is as Neo is finding out was so wild. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
it's really fun to go into stuff like
also,
that.
Also, we might be going to see The Matrix again.
Right.
In the
at the Cosm?
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. The Cosm. It's like a very like ultra immersive theater.
It's like a lot of screens
space.
And like funky use of screens.
Yeah, but like they also like extend visuals and stuff. Like it's supposed to be really cool. A friend hit me up about going, and I still need to try and find a time that works. But I think that'd be fun. I'd be down.
Yeah, I've been wanting to check out the Cosm if that's how it's
said. And I think it's a great, like, I know that we like The Matrix, so I think it's a great opportunity to check out the Cosm and see if it's worth going back there for like something sports.
See, I'm gonna throw a wrench in this plan. I don't think it will give us a good sense of the sports thing because they do a lot of funky stuff with the like for sports. I want to go because it's like they do the whole wall as the screen, and if you get a good seat, it's supposed to give you that feeling like you're in the stadium, which I know it's not going to be like 1-to-1, but I feel like I won't get that from The Matrix because I also have seen a little bit about like what they do, and it's just is a different use of the screens. Okay. So I do think we would still need to go for the sport thing to see like what the sport vibe is, but it'll be more than nothing, and it'll give us a sense of how they do movies because they do other movies, like they do sports, they do movies, and they do like sometimes like shows like is this outer space or like nature stuff and stuff like that. So I think it'll be good for us knowing about the movie, but it won't be as good for like knowing about the sports because they are a little different.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we'll report back on the Cosm. It's funny because since this show is literally everything because it's games and not games, pretty much everything we do, I'm like, would be good for the podcast.
Yeah.
So it's like,
tax attorneys hate us.
yeah, the White House hate to see me coming. So yeah, again, that poll the show, gamesandnotgames.com/poll. And this week we're going to be asking about if you're playing Silksong and how you're liking it, as well as your favorite theme park ride. And maybe if Isaiah puts it in, or if you want to just write it in, what alarm clock song did you wake up to back in the day? But anyway, that's it for this week. You can send us your questions and topics to the email inbox at gamesandnotgames.com. You can follow the podcast version of the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to give it that 5-star rating.
5 stars.
Cinco Diamantes.
And if you're an audio listener, remember that you can get the video version over on YouTube at Games and Not Games. If you like the video, be sure to give it a like and leave a comment, as it helps us get the show in front of more people. You can follow us on social media. We're pretty much everywhere at Games and Not Games, but that's mainly Blue Sky and a little bit of Twitch. And until next time, gang, gang.
Gang, gang.
Peace.